don't have any pizza stories.
You might have to repeat that because there's like a little. Well,
Oh,
Addy doesn't have a pizza story.
I don't. I do and I don't. None that are interesting. We had a bit of a fiasco on Father's Day where they forgot to do the dough. So the owner had to wake up at like 3 a.m. and do the dough himself with some help. And the benefit was we got the dough from the source. Woo! Amazing pizzas that day. Only had half what we normally do. A lot of disappointed dads, but the dads who got pizza, top notch. Top notch dough.
Stoked.
Yeah, they were hyped. They were hyped. I snagged one for myself, took it home, and just threw out the old slice with the other dough. Bomb. And now they're gonna do lumpia for Filipino heritage, so I'll finally get to have lumpia. I'm psyched. Dude, this is the last episode of the analytics finally, dude. We didn't think it would take this long. My God.
My God.
Dude, today's the day. But we shouldn't spend too much time because it's just the graphs. It's just the final thing. I say that now. Watch. 4 hours are gonna go by. We'll be on like graph number 4. A lot of baby blue going on in here.
I know, right? And then it's like I'm blown out in this new room with giant windows behind me.
You look like you died and went to heaven, you know? You're in just an all white room, and they're like, here's some baby blues, so you kind of stand out from the background a little bit.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to my new office, or where I'll be recording, so I'm gonna have to move around, and there's some cool. I showed Addy, there's a cool whole thing going on over here, but I can't really show it.
Do we thank the people since like all their views paid for that whole new extension and everything? I mean, that's really what happened, right?
At the Hellegrip compound?
Yeah, dude.
Totally.
We just made so much money that we're like, we got to invest in a new studio. A whole new studio.
That's exactly what happened.
Thanks to everyone who donated. I think like Delaney's like $10. You know, paid for the paint, 1 bucket of paint.
Yeah. But yeah, we're on episode. That was the other thing I was looking at. We're episode 57 of talking shit.
Something like that.
And then this is part 7 of just the scooter analytics. I will say, I've heard from a few people we went a little too long with this series, and I agree. We did. We went 7 episodes on last year's analytics.
I'm with them on
ridiculous.
that.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, maybe we'll do like 2. You know, if necessary.
The conversations just happen, and they're they just natural conversations, and then Addy's got all this information. We got to look at all of it.
Yeah. Now we're getting to the fun part.
Pulling up the videos, I think, and having the channel below, I think that was doing the most. Even though it was interesting, but then we would dive into like, well, what are they up to now? And like all that shit, and it was like ate up way much time. So.
Yeah, I wasn't even planning on going through all the videos.
But
like,
you linked them.
I made I did the links thinking like, oh, that'll be for like the one in like, I don't know, 10 slides where a real quick look at one video, and then the links, while I felt proud making all of them links, maybe it kind of backfired, but not really.
Yeah.
It was good to have them. Better to have them than not.
Yeah. All right, well,
this part's going to drive people crazy because it's kind of hard to see.
Oh, see, that's what I'm talking about. If I click on top of you, then it goes on. You go underneath. All right, hold on, folks.
Yeah. This is when we first started, I'm like, some of it's kind of stupid. This is kind of the stupid part. Like the graphs, I don't know. They're cool, but they don't.
So this is the YouTube subscriber graph.
Yeah, I kind of like just decided like, oh, maybe I'll do some graphs based on certain numbers and comparing certain numbers.
Well,
but
it's better almost to start off at the bottom than it is at the top.
Yeah, honestly, we don't have to even go through all of like with the slides and the links. I didn't mean for it to like, let's look at each one. It's just in general, like, yeah, look at the top and the bottom, and then everything else is kind of in between. And what's tough with these graphs, and this goes all the way back to like episode 1 talking about it.
There we are.
There we are. is because of the outliers, the John Reyes, Ryan Williams. It just makes it look like everyone else is the same. But there's a big difference between like 11,000 and 20,000 viewers or subscribers. But on that graph, it's like, oh, well, it's all the same.
It's crazy that like, and I only say this because you're McMasher, original urban art dude, but like we started the same year as urban art, but they still got 10K on us. You know, that's kind of interesting.
I mean, they blew up in those early days with those, you know, bots.
I only bring that up because Addy rode for
yeah, they
them
had like
in the early
100,000 view video.
Well,
I think they gained a lot in the early days.
I have to say it because I filmed a lot of it, but like you never had a Heligrip video, but you had a ton of videos on urban art, dude, and they got 10K on us with me and your footage. I filmed you rode. It came out on their channel. It's, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying that, isn't that kind of crazy?
What are you saying, bro? That we could have got that 10K?
That what if we would have had that Addy footage on our channel, folks? Would we be up 10K?
Well, I don't know, because we were always like, how did they get like 100,000 views so quick? Like, did they like buy some views on that one?
I'm saying Addy sold us out, folks. I'm saying Addy sold us out. He
sold out a lot of people back in my day.
He gave the extra 10K to urban art, and that's why we're only at 16 and they're at 26. Scroll it up.
I appreciate, honestly, that's a compliment.
It's a compliment. It's a compliment.
I give credit to like JD and Maxime. They're the ones, you know.
Because I filmed your clips. It was me and you. We sold out.
It was everyone but me, dude. Georgie,
yeah. No, because it was a lot of those team videos, dude, and you were like a big star. Like, it was always, yes, you made up maybe not for having the best tricks in there with your personality. A lot of those videos, it was always cut to Addy. Those early urban art videos, it was a lot of cut to Addy, or you were filming the clip, one or the other, because there was a lot of like you being like,
yeah. I honestly, I wish I had the raw footage, because there's just so much more there that isn't us riding. I think that would be like, oh yeah, good times. Those were good times.
Like I'm talking
and the photos, dude. All the photos that Chair took.
Yes, there was a lot of that. Yeah.
Just lifestyle stuff, like us kicking it.
Yeah.
Things where I'm like, damn, I don't even remember that. Anyways, moving on.
Well, because that's the only other channel on this list for the most part that I probably also had clips on a lot of. That's why I noticed it too. I'm like, oh, I filmed a lot for urban art.
Oh, you didn't film for Envy, dude? Oh.
No, I definitely had some stuff with Aztec for Bruss and shit, and like, obviously, you know, I filmed Anton for our friends bars, Affinity.
Yeah.
But Eric also rode for urban art, and I filmed hella Eric shit.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, Eric was huge, like also a big part of that.
I had video
when he did the Ohlone rail.
You know what? I filmed. Me and Eric did a video for District, so I'm right here too, dude.
Yeah, dude. 102 for Tubi. Yeah, it just blows up.
102 for. No, you didn't put Overshow on the list. I noticed.
Nah. They're in a league of their own. The Overshow.
We would have been higher than some people. And then it's crazy because you get to hear, and it's like John Reyes, Raymond Warner, R. Willie, and it's like, okay.
That makes sense. And then the Volt.
The Volt is the last thing. Yeah, the Volts were like the last thing, and it's like, okay, the Volt, all right, Volt, that's not bad.
Theirs is like, I'm not surprised with the Volt because they put out so much content, but it's like, it's pretty wild they have that many subscribers. Like, I feel like they don't, I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Someone's be like, you're an idiot, but like, they don't do a lot of like the clickbaity stuff that John Reyes does. And not that like, I don't know, maybe not clickbaity is the right term for John Reyes, but like, you know, just the wheels made out of Jello kind of stuff. Yeah. Ryan Williams.
Who, the Volt? Or who are you talking about right there?
Well, I'm just saying the Volt, it's wild that they have all like that many viewers without doing a ton of like gimmicky stuff.
Well, Stryker and the Volt both are riding that wave of like showing a scooter being made or like a different color setup, right? And that seems to always do pretty good. if you just show a scooter being built.
Which I'm not that shocked because like growing up, like my brother used to be obsessed with looking at like BMX builds, but it's just wild that that's still, I don't know, gets you some traction.
Homie in the chat just asked if River was on the list. Yeah, River's right there, about 10K.
River way down at 10 with the rest of us.
But their River came out after.
I mean, they came out at a time when the getting was still good.
Wait, no, but what year? Like after we were already in business, yeah.
Yeah, I believe so.
Right, yeah.
But it was pretty soon after because we came out with like Icebox, which was one of our first designs, and it kind of lined up perfectly with the River wheels coming out.
Yeah.
The blue.
But the triple OGs of Proto, which are like the OGs at 53, which is interesting to see.
I'm shocked that like Ethic only's got 52,000.
Because
they're like always filming videos.
Look at homie Anton about to get his plaque right here.
Maybe there's a few.
He has.
He got it.
Yeah.
Anton, OG Blake, like holy shit.
Yeah.
Dakota's one where like he's just gone now. So,
OG Blake is nuts because I never even heard of homie until we did this graph.
Yeah.
So that one's
OG Blake,
crazy, dude.
Yeah, he's probably the biggest. Like I didn't run these numbers, but like he's probably has the most like momentum right now going up. Maybe it's Raymond Warner. I don't know where he was at like a few years ago.
I will say though,
I mean Ryan Williams, sorry, Ryan Williams. Well, and Raymond too.
It's really Raymond should be on top. I know you put our Willie, you had to put our Willie on the list, but like Raymond's actually doing scooter content 24/7.
Yeah, for pure scootering, none of like the BMX stuff. Raymond's the GOAT here.
Yeah, Raymond's our GOAT.
But he's been around.
But we also
you
didn't include Tanner, which because Tanner.
No, I took Tanner off because it's literally like no scoot, not literally no scootering, but damn near no scootering.
Yeah, yeah, but he is
for a long time.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a hard one.
Yeah, even when he was still like he would like mention scootering. It was like, oh, here's me like going down a water slide kind of thing.
Yeah. Here's me.
Oh, by the way, I ride scooters, but here's me going down a water slide.
Oh, dude, did you see? Totally off subject, but they're also not on the list. But did you see the Funk Bros had Poopies came out to kick it with Corey?
Yeah, I did. I didn't watch her. I saw maybe like a short or something.
Super jacked up and had to go to the hospital just filming a stunt with Corey, which is crazy. Like mad props to Corey. Huge fan of the Jackass
saw where he got launched with the car jack thing. I thought that was fake. I thought
No, he went to the hospital. He dislocated his femur.
Cause didn't he miss the entire thing?
No, they show a dummy at the end ad. I think that's the clip you're thinking of. But there's he Poopies does it and he gets jacked up.
Oh, yeah. Hopefully they got insurance there.
That's a good question. We'll have to one day ask.
Hopefully they got insurance.
And it, it's like one of those videos too. Where it's like we should watch it one time. Not today, but like where it gets like super serious at the end, where he's like, when you're filming stunts and stuff, you never want this to happen. Da 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 da. Yada yada yada, dude. It's good. It's good.
I just like
I enjoyed the video.
I subscribe, but I don't watch regularly because they are like hell of clickbait.
No, I saw it because
from like the thumbnail and then to what it is, you're like, oh, that's not that tight.
I saw it because I saw something where Poopies posted it. I didn't see it through the Funk Bros. That's the craziest part. And then when I saw on the helmet when he gets hurt, it had their logo. I was like, wait a minute. So then I thought about it. I was like, the water, this makes total sense. So then I went to the Funk Bros page and they had a video too. And I was like, oh, wow. They got Poopies to come and hang out. I mean, that
almost killed Poopies, bro.
With that property that Corey has, I'm not surprised that people were coming out to kick it with him and stuff. Like, that place is awesome.
Well, yeah, and that dude's met up with Kai before, right? Kai Saunders.
Oh, on the beach, like
Remember they
in an
showed up at
old
the skate
yeah.
park and then like Kai didn't ride. It was so like, dude,
Yeah, I
Kai, what
remember that video.
happened?
You're right, Addy. You're right.
He's just like, no, I'm not feeling it right now. Like, bro, what?
Yeah,
Dude,
in
this guy
Australia,
came out.
totally.
I'm
Yeah.
just thinking like Poopsie loves to meet up with other like YouTubers and like action sport riders, but he's showing love to the scooter riders, I guess. As a surfer too, that's like damn.
And then I
A
went
little
into a little
surprise.
deep dive on Poopies real quick because I was just intrigued by it. And I only bring this up because you love surfing. He had a short of him riding the electric surfboard.
Wait, the RC surfboard
Or he
or
could
the foil electric foil thing.
The caption was electric surfboard. It literally kind of to me looked like more like an electric wakeboard, but he said surfboard.
Oh,
And
yeah,
he was just like
that.
pumping out in the ocean, like, and he like showed the deck and then like showed his little contraption and then was just like filming around. You know, it's a super short clip.
It's one of those people are like, this shit's lame, bro. Just like ride a regular board. But if you got one of those, you're like, hell yeah, this is the dopest thing. Good on him. Anyways, okay, so yeah, the Funks almost killed someone.
No, yeah, but it's Poopies, right? So it's like that's crazy.
Yeah.
Someone just asked where was Grit on the list. They were popping back in the day. Let's see.
If I left Grit off, chances are they didn't do anything at all in the last year, so I just left them off. Is Crisp even on there? I think Crisp and Grit didn't have anything because they did nothing. I mean, we could look.
Yeah.
Because they're always in the back of my mind of like, oh yeah, they were like pretty big. Yeah, even though like everyone hated them at the time.
This list, just to clarify, isn't based off just like all time. This is Addy mainly was basing this off this year's. And then this
yeah.
So
even though these numbers are like all time, you know, from the beginning up until now, yeah, if they didn't do anything in 2023, they're not on here.
They didn't make it to the list. So our bad on that.
Yeah, I don't even know if they still exist. Like, there's probably just a bunch of inventory.
Store have a channel. Yeah, Scooter Resource also didn't make the list because
that's a good question. I don't even think I looked into them.
Scooter Resource has a channel. Yeah, they definitely
It's been shut down for so long that it'd be weird.
Josh also had something to say, but hold on, let me look up the Scooter Resource thing because they are triple OG.
In the meantime, the Scooter Brad one's like, oh, that's a bummer. Like, he's way up there, and now like that page is done. You know, he has his achievements, but right now it's in a hiatus. Dakota, I think he probably just gave up. He's like, like to get to 1 million, that's so far away. Bail.
Oh, it was the Scooter Resource. I was having trouble finding it. They all together have only 5,400. Oh, yeah, no, it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah, they haven't done anything in years.
Well, they haven't done anything in years. And here, Addy, can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, so there you go.
Oh, sick car. Oh no, it's someone hitting a rail.
They joined.
It looks like it's just a car thing.
They joined. Oh shucks.
2007. Hey, that's our logo.
2007. Their views are all right, but the subscribers is only 5,000. So
yeah.
And the last time they did a video, the reason they didn't make it on here is because it's been over. Well,
actually, click on that. That might have been 2023.
No, 2022.
Ooh, 2022.
Yep. So Addy was in the right to leave them off.
Sorry, guys. The core one, that's also another. They have 89. They're like a skate park brand thing, and they have a bunch of non-scooter stuff there.
But yeah, so this was just subscribers. Let's move on. Let's move past that. That was that. It's not everybody, but
sorry for the yawns. Jeez, it's the allergies today. They got me. They got me a little letharge, a little malaised.
So this is years.
Little lack of days. Oh yeah, this one's dumb, but let's go. Okay. So the blue line is their total subscribers. And the orange is the years on YouTube. So that's why it's all like blocky. I tried to do this better in Excel, but this is the best I could come up with.
Wow, so Ryan
Um,
Williams is the most consistent on that by
yeah,
a
the
landslide.
idea was to kind of show like, okay, for how long they've been out, like like who is falling off and who's not in a way, or like who's gaining a ton of subscribers in a short amount of time, or who's been around for a hell of a long time and doesn't have as many subscribers. Um, Again, not like the best metric of success, because maybe your channel isn't about getting a ton of views and subscribers, which I don't know, that seems kind of antithetical nowadays to being like on YouTube. It's always like the goal is to blow up your channel. But yeah, so
But maybe you're
I
not
guess
playing into
where
the
you are in the
algorithm,
chart.
is what you're
What's
saying.
up?
What I think you're trying to say is, Addy, is that some people's channels are more playing into like what's popular right now and the algorithm or what have you, versus just doing traditional like extreme sports videos. There's kind of two different ways to treat your YouTube channel, right?
Yeah,
So
or like some people like, I'm gonna put out videos. I know they're not gonna blow up, but like there's a little niche market out there that will like it,
that will
and
love
that's for
this, yeah,
them.
and that's for them
Versus
exactly.
like,
Doing the corny
I
shit.
gotta look at what like Ryan
Yeah.
Williams and John Reyes and Raymond are doing and try to mimic
Yeah,
them.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Uh,
there's nothing wrong either direction. There's nothing wrong either direction. So
yeah. And where you are on the chart here, I guess the higher up you are just means you've been around longer. It doesn't necessarily mean you're doing better. In fact, you might be worse off. Like, cause look, Dakota's at the top. He's been around the longest of all the brands on YouTube, which I was shocked by. I was like, damn, really? Dakota has been around for a hot minute.
what I
Yeah.
what I don't like about this list is if you look, everyone that's in the 12 category, because if you think the way you did this, Addy, there's like years. There's 17,
Yeah, you can see the
16,
years up
15,
there.
14,
Yeah.
right? In the 12 category, we're the fucking bottom.
Yeah.
Hellgrip's the bottom of the category.
Well, it for that's just a coincidence. Like I don't know how those got organized.
No, it's not. It's no, you're
'Cause
right.
look,
You're right, because this should
yeah,
be even. Yeah, okay.
I don't know how that works.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
these are a little funky.
And we should be above Chile as well. Okay. All right. It's not as bad as I thought, folks. We're
It
all
was
right.
more like a lot of this is just to look at like things that stand out, like the Dakota one. Like, damn, he's been around the longest, but that blue line is pretty short compared to Ryan Williams, who's only like a year off. And these aren't exact, you know, it could be like 6 months. But his line goes all the way out to the end. Same with like Fusion, dude. Fusion way up there. Been around 16 years. You could barely see that blue. And then if you go towards the bottom, like John Reyes, hell of stands out. He's only been on 8 years, but has almost 1 million subscribers.
Wow, he's only been on
You
8 years. I would have thought it was way longer.
Yeah, and like OG Blake, look, remember how we're like, damn, he's got hella subscribers. He's also on this thing. He's way down at the bottom. Only been around 4 years. Same with that Anton guy. Like, they stand out. So again, that's what, and like Mad Gear, they're doing all right, but they've been around for a while. And a lot of this was to like show like, okay, just being around for a long time, like guarantee you got a lot of views, and like, no. I mean, you definitely see a lot more blue up top.
Yeah.
Where people have been around for a while, and a lot less down low where they haven't been around.
Yeah.
But again, it's looking at those blue outliers that are like, whoa, what's going on there, Striker? So yeah, kind of a funky graph.
Yeah, it's interesting.
But really, it just shows like Ryan Williams is the one who's like been around for days and gaining subscribers for days.
All right.
Okay, this was total. This is just to see who was pushing out the most long form content in 2023. So you'll see Dakota. He's the only one I include. Like, you're like, why wasn't SR included if Dakota was included? I just figured like Dakota at one point was like kind of set the bar, you know, or one of the people setting the bar of like what you could strive to be for a scooter YouTuber. Or a brand involved in scootering doing YouTube.
Dakota should have been our Willie, but just didn't turn out.
Yeah, total. Like R. Willie, John Ray, take all the top people. He should have been that, and then just like for whatever reason, just completely dropped
Moved to
off.
Dubai.
Yeah, it wasn't even like, oh, he had a. Maybe I'm wrong. Did he have some bad injury and like just
No, I
was
don't
low
think so.
key about it, or what? It's
I
like,
don't know.
it's not even like, oh, he's like not good anymore, and years of decline. He just kind of like, I don't know, maybe like, and this happened a lot when I was coming up in the game. Whoever was top dog, the moment that they weren't, like someone could do one little more trick than them, they're just like, all right, I'm out.
Yeah,
You know,
I don't want to take a
not
loss.
number
I'd rather
one.
retire.
Yeah, yeah. They're just like completely disappear.
I think that's kind of what happened.
Yeah. And he's like, "Oh, I'm not the best. I can't like go around saying I'm the world champ or whatever the hell. Like I'm out."
All right, so this is the total amount of uploads, though. Let's get into that real, outside of Dakota, because he didn't do nothing. We shouldn't harp on him
Yeah,
for too
yeah.
long.
So he's down. So yeah,
So
River.
Olay dominated, bro, with 118 freaking videos last year. Mad props to them. That's a ton of content, and that some of their content is like, I mean, most of it's long format, right? Like this isn't including shorts. This is all long format.
Yeah, this is all the long format.
Oh, okay, yeah, it says long. Duh, Tubi.
I know it's a little, yeah.
So 118 long format videos. That's kind of insane. If you think about it, that's kind of crazy amount of videos.
That's basically almost exactly 10 a month. 10 long form videos
nuts.
a month. Yeah.
Okay, so then.
But then like beyond, but Olay kind of makes sense, like because like they're like a content generating brand, and not only that, they take other people's content
and repost or
that's given to them versus like they didn't produce 118 videos. Unlike the person below them, that kid Justin, that guy, did all his videos on his own. As far
but
as
still,
I know.
dude, all of it being like contests and all that, like Justin, his stuff's all gonna be vlogs.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely like a different style of content, but just to be like, dude, he had to go out there and edit, film and edit 108 videos. Like that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, but I will say, because I want to give mad props to Olay, because homie talking in front of a camera and doing a few little cuts is one thing versus like, Addy, like when we used to do the Epic Jam videos, going through a whole contest to edit, dude. That shit's nuts. And that's a majority, I think, of what Olay posts is like street jams and contests, right? So, I mean, now I agree with you. Jared or whoever is running the show over at Olay, they're hiring out, and he's not physically doing all the work. But it's still, it's a crazy amount of videos to put out.
No, it's I mean, it's impressive for sure.
Trendkill's the only other news outlet or whatever, media house, right? And they have less than half at 50.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's quite a difference.
Yeah, Olay's definitely putting out a lot more than, I guess Trendkill is their biggest rival at this point.
It's like, I mean, Dissidents would be, I guess, kind of in that same realm.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and they're down. I mean, they're still towards the top. They're in the top 10, just below John Reyes.
They did 39
I would have
videos?
thought John Reyes would be a little further up, but like he's still impressive. But Kick Me too, like damn, Kick Me at 3, like that's like holy shit.
Well, they got like a podcast that they post.
Yeah.
Which, once a week, that kind of adds up to a lot of videos in a year, right?
It's just nuts that they're like double the vault.
Yeah, and the Vault does the custom builds, once every 2 weeks almost? Something like that?
Yeah.
Or they were? I'm surprised.
Yeah.
I'm surprised to see Sondeezy at 39. I thought he was more like a weekly, twice a week.
Same with Ryan Williams. Like Ryan Williams is one I'm like, he's always like top dog. Like that's still a lot, but I was like, oh, I would have thought maybe he was higher up there given where he's at on some of the other charts.
I've seen in the past that Ryan edits his own videos. I wonder if he could produce more if he got an editor. Like because he's on tour,
I think anyone
he's doing all that shit. It's like,
yeah.
Bro, maybe
I mean, I think that's for anyone. That's a formula for more content. Is if you have your own editor, your own filmer.
At least maybe when you're on tour, get an editor, and then when you're back home,
Yeah, even someone who's like, if they're
good.
not editing the final product, someone who's like, oh, can you like Ryan gets a bunch of stuff and gives it off to someone who's like, can you just cut this up and like make selects out of it and cut out the fat kind of, so when I come home, I could just easily throw it together in whatever order, you know?
Yeah.
Or afterwards, like I'll do the edit, but you got to deal with adding music and like, I don't know, color correction if you want to go that far, adding graphics and whatnot.
Also,
but yeah, other big dogs, Finn Scoot up there.
Yeah.
Raymond, Warner, and Ryan, again, not surprised. 10-4's one. 10-4 in Chile, where you're like, what the hell? Pretty good amount. And then it's just like a oof. Like, look how many, half the chart.
Chile's surprising. That's long format?
Yeah, we're still in the long.
Brad really, only at 12, and now he's on a whole different freaking channel, so.
Yeah. But if you look, most of the chart is like that 5, like my threshold was 5 uploads usually, or that was like I was taking the top 5, which you'll see in the next one. But damn near half the brands only had 5 uploads in the last year. And like you kind of tell that, or if you include just 6 uploads or like 10 or less, that's like most people. But then if you're at the top, like you were really putting it out. It's not like 10, 11, 12, where like it slowly grows up like very linear. It's like 10 videos a year to fucking 100 videos a year. Between like over the course of 10 brands, you go up to Hundo. Yeah, there we are. 3. Which I think we agreed was actually 2. Kinda. Don't feel bad, bro. Don't feel too bad. Look, we're in there with everyone else. Like, when you're a kid and you're like, did go to school and like, did anyone else not do the homework? Basically 2/3 of the class is like, yeah, I also didn't do the homework. So we have a lot of people around.
I think we've had more than 3 this year.
Yeah. So. We're nowhere close to the 100, whatever the hell.
No.
Hey, if you include it talking shit, like some of these brands, their talking shit was part of their channel.
I said that though. I said you didn't add the live in, but dude, that would have actually helped Finn Scooters too, because Finn Scooters, they do a ton of live. So they would have got bumped even higher up.
Yeah. If you include,
that's crazy because they already had freaking 36 ad. They would have been even higher up on this list. Yeah,
totally. And like even people that do like the podcast style, but it's not live. Like I think Kick Meat included theirs in there, so they might have been lower if they had that as like a separate thing.
If Kick Meat did their podcasty thing live, they would have had less. And if Finn uploaded theirs the same way Kick Meat does, or we did, then we would have been way higher up. We would have been in this like 10, 15, 20 round.
Yeah, if we had all the talking shit, dude, if we had the talking shits, we'd be in like the top 5. Because I think we've done almost like the bulk of them in the last year. Yeah.
So suck it.
Yeah, dude. River, I feel bad all the way down. I mean, there's several number 1s, but
we've also had, like I said, more than 3 this year, so we're fine.
Yeah. All right.
Moving on to the next one.
Moving on.
YouTube views.
Okay, yeah. So this, I mean, the title says it, but I could explain more. This is basically I took the top 5, which we saw in other charts, and totaled up how many views they got with their top 5. Take their top 5 long form videos, top 5 by total views, and then just add them up. And how many views is that? And that's where we're at. Again, kind of dumb, because it's not too surprising, but I figured like, it's kind of a cool metric to look at. Really, it's the average that matters more, I think. So we could even just skip this one.
Ryan Williams on top.
Yeah, we might as well look at the average. I feel like that's a slightly better graph.
Hold on.
It looks the
I was
same.
about to say,
It
what's the
looks the
top
same.
5 is
That's just the total. Like, take the
Ryan,
top 5, add
Raymond,
them all up, and then the one below is I
Anton, Undial.
averaged the top 5 views, which I think is a better one because it might be there's a few accounts where they got one
Core,
video that had 1 million, and then the rest were like 20,000.
somehow Core flip-flops with John Reyes, depending on
Yeah,
these two.
Kitty, shut up. Kitty's all upset. She wants to go outside. Yeah, I've just, again, I feel like the average is a little better. It kind of makes up for if your top 5 just had one huge standout video. By averaging it, I kind of bring it down to give you a better idea of like when a brand puts out a video and it does well for them, how many views does it get? You know? So we're doing all right with our 2300 there. That's what you could expect for a good video. But again, when most of these brands are only uploading 6 a year, you know.
So let's look here.
The average isn't as telling as when you're uploading 100.
Because I'm gonna say 10 should be the minimum.
Yeah, but overall, this is one of my more favorite graphs to kind of give you an idea of how many views you could expect per video for most brands.
I just want to say
if
mad
you did
props
okay.
to Badger, bro, because
Badger's up there.
He's been low on all the other graphs. Not a lot of video uploads, whatever. Not a lot of like subscribers, but yet his average video, even with all that being said, shows that if you make a really good video, people will still come to view it no matter what. You know,
Yeah.
or the same people are rewatching Badger's video like they're diehard.
Yeah, it's a little unfair for like people like, okay, you take a channel and they only uploaded one video, their average is going to be whatever that video was. So if they focused on one and it blew up, then like that's their average versus like someone who uploaded one huge video and then 4 whatever videos, that's really going to bring down their average. So that's another one where because there were so few uploads, like so many brands had less than 5, it kind of skews the chart a little bit.
But Badger only had 3, and his average view count for 3 videos is over 10. It's 11, dude.
Yeah,
that's amazing, bro. And it being a self account of real riding videos, not some other shit, right? Some real riding videos. Like he's the standout in my opinion on this list right here. The fact that he's this high up and over all of these people, you know?
Yeah.
Now,
like
what's
also Ryan Williams at?
What's also interesting though is I think Badger helps out a lot with North. That's the brand he rides for, which is right above him. And look at their average. So that shows you Badger's diehardness is about 11,000.
Yeah, and 10K nowadays, that's pretty good if you drop a video. Like
for Scootering now.
For Scootering, hope that you're around 10K.
Yeah.
And that's your bar. Everyone else you could see is like they're a more major brand who's been around for a while. So, but again, like the Vault, right? Their average is 41,000. That's pretty high. Again, because they uploaded a lot more, their top 5, it's going to skew higher because when you're doing that many, one's going to blow up a lot more. Like, I don't think on average, again, to clarify, this is the average of the top 5, not the average of all the videos they put out last year.
I think it'll be
so again, this number isn't the best gauge about like, if a Vault puts out a video, on average, it might get 10,000 views, you know? This is more, if they put out a better video, for whatever reason, what can it expect? And this is kind of it.
I got
a higher end.
It's going to be an interesting, if we do this next year, it's going to be really interesting because Raymond Warner not posting a lot this year. Undialed, they pretty much have retired. So a lot of these top dogs from last year won't be in the running this year.
Undialed just had that like the year end like biggest tricks, biggest bails video, and that really bumped their average. I imagine if you looked at these,
where were they on this chart? What was their post? Undialed. What was their amount of posting?
I think they were a little higher, or did they not?
You're telling
Honestly,
me
I don't
their
know.
average is that high and they only posted a couple times?
Yeah, because again, I think they just had like a.
What the fuck are they?
I didn't see him.
Urban Art.
Keep going.
There they are.
Oh,
9.
there they are.
9 videos,
9.
and
Yeah,
their average is that's pretty good too, man.
because they did. It's the compilation videos. They had some compilation videos, which like can't go wrong with compilations, and one of them really blew up, so it bumped their average. Because I think I don't know if it did 1 million or what.
Wow.
You would have to go back and look at their
Chart. Yeah.
their slide chart thing.
I'm not gonna do that, but yeah, that's crazy.
But I mean, dude, if you're Anton, bro, and you're averaging 100,000 views a video, like, dude, Anton Zykov killing it. I mean, what is Raymond at on average views? Top Raymond. I mean, sorry, top Ryan. Ryan Williams. Where you go? Okay, so he's averaging 350,000. That's printing money, you know? Like, Ryan Williams is at a point where he drops a video and it's like, I could pay some rent with that.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the next one.
Okay, now we're into shorts. Who's playing the shorts game? And then everyone else. So this graph was easier to
We're
read.
actually
I
we're in the
took
top.
everyone. Yeah. We're higher up there. I didn't number them
Top 10.
by like, yeah. And then everyone on the right, you can't see it right now. That's people who had no uploads. At first I had them in the graph, but it's like, that's dumb. It just makes it harder to read.
I like this chart.
Yeah, dude. So Savage and Core, they're playing that shorts game.
And Hella Grip. We definitely stand out because
Yeah.
we've been low on all of these charts that Addy's made. We've been at the bottom. We finally broke top 10.
Yeah. I mean, this isn't like, I don't know. It may not be an honor to be higher up because some people are just, I don't know, just pushing out shorts for the sake of it. Because yeah, look, dude. What do you think, bro? Doing more than one short a day, is that crazy? If you're Savage, that's pretty savage of them to do.
Well,
14 shorts.
Think about it. Think about it. Savage Scooters is a repost channel that doesn't even tag the rider that they're stealing from. So they're literally savages. Like they're just going in and like stealing.
Straight up savages.
They're just straight up savage about it. And then they don't even lie. They like name the channel that. Like from the start, they were like, yo, we don't give a shit. I want to know who runs that account, man.
Yeah. Wait, again, which was the one that posted the blue wheel or whatever, and then that blew
Striker.
up? The black and...
Striker.
Okay, that was Striker. I keep confusing Savage and Striker.
Striker's a store. No, Striker doesn't do... Are they corny? Sure. Because they're doing stuff for a younger audience of just like, here's a blue scooter. Here's a red scooter. What are we going to build? They like show the thing and they're like, what are we building with this?
Yeah.
And then they throw it all down, right? Yeah.
Phone.
That's fine. At least he's doing the work, right? Like he's actually cutting, editing. Like at the end of the day, he's spending time and putting effort in, right? Savage ain't doing none of that. They're just swooping the HTML, putting it on a website, downloading it, re-uploading it. You know, it's as simple as that for them. And I didn't even think about that, Addy. You're right. They're uploading. They uploaded a few within the same day.
And Striker is down. They're 5th, I think, right now. So they're at
290.
What, 200? Or no, they're 230.
No, aren't they 290? Striker?
Nah, because they're 264.
264. Okay, 290 is Mad.
Yeah, and again, the graphs they're kind of hard to read, but I was just like, screw it, we got to get this out.
I mean, we were at what, 222? Are we really at 222?
I think we're the one below that 185. Yeah, I should have had him switch colors. Dude, my Excel. This was me learning Excel.
Damn.
Doing all this stuff. Since I was like, I haven't had to make a graph in Excel since like 6th grade. 185.
185.
Woo! Dude, that's like one every other day. You know, that's pretty good.
It wasn't that, but yeah.
Um,
I'd go like a month straight and then like miss like a few weeks and then go another like 2 months straight.
yeah.
And to be honest, the reason that really happened is I was just uploading the backlog. So that's not going to happen this year because I blew the load last year.
Yeah. Hey, at least we beat OG Blake for once, and Justin. Those two, they're hot on our tails right now. Anyways, next one. This is like the other one I did with the long forms. I just added up the views for the top 5 shorts, and then I also took the average. Which will be the slide
Will Judy,
after.
what it do, Will Judy?
What up?
Homie from Russia says next you guys should probably make a more detailed version. What kind of videos which channels produce, but maybe that's too much work for Addy.
What kind of videos? What?
Each channel produces. That's also all like that's so hard because like someone even like the Vault, they upload a lot of different styles of video, right? Like it's hard to like. Yes, for some we could easily be like, look, and Addy did do that because he did break down in the beginning. If you remember, it says crew, it says store. He did on this part. He definitely rider/vlogs. So we did attempt to mention that, but then down here when we get into these graphs, he just kind of threw all the different categories together. See, this is where it hurts us that we've done so many episodes on this subject because we've probably mentioned all of this before, but that was in like part 3 or 4, and now we're on part 7, and you don't remember or we don't remember, and it's kind of a shit show.
Yeah, and if you stuck around for the whole thing, you saw us kind of go to their channel and peruse around, you could get a good idea of what
we investigated
what they're uploading. I mean, yeah, I could do. It was one of those like, it's just 1 year. You could do so much more, so much less.
Totally.
You know, I could have spent forever on this, literally forever on this. But I don't think you need to. It's like with sample sizes. You only need so many to get a good idea. You don't have to do a sample of every single person in the world. I don't have. Like, it might help to look at every video and break it down. But, you know, we're not running some AI thing. It's a good point, though.
No, that's why
good point.
That's why I read the comment, because it was a good point, and I did want to acknowledge it. All right, let's move on. Total YouTube view shorts. That's where we were before I scrolled back up.
This is adding up. Okay, take the their top 5 shorts in terms of views and add them up, and then I also averaged their top 5 views.
And that's
to show
we went from being in top 8, and then we dropped right back to being pretty freaking average. Which is that,
and now you're getting a lot of those same high performers up there again. It's just John Reyes, Ryan Williams, like Raymond Warner, just killing it, and there we are, dude. For shorts though, like,
well, I'd like to say something on that. Is that what happens for us? Is that once a week when I was doing this, once a week we'd get one that would like stand out at like 6,000 or whatever, and then the rest of them would be like 500 or less.
And I think it's like all the brands. That's how they were. They'd had a few that blew up, and then the rest is just like, we're all the same.
So I'm not surprised to see this at all. Like, this totally makes sense to me. I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
It's disappointing.
But some have huge, like John Ray, like what's his, the top 2 people there, just so the viewers could see, and then we could be done.
Wow.
Dude.
That's
their total top 5, 34 million. But I think when we did the math months ago, like, you ain't getting a lot out of 34 million total views on shorts. That's like what, $100 or something?
And that's his total amount altogether views.
Yeah, I think so. When you do the average, like, yeah, again, it's like the other one. Like, maybe it's best to just look at the average because you'll get a better idea.
So we had,
it doesn't change a whole lot.
We had 34 altogether. That's our amount. Okay, that's interesting.
If you just our top 5, because that again, I had to just pick something. So I'm like, I'm just
Oh,
picking the top
wait,
5 to
wait,
get a better idea.
wait. You're telling me that John Reyes number is just his top 5?
Yeah, that's adding up his
Oh
top
my
5.
God.
That's how many he got. 171 million. Yeah, so he beat out Ryan Williams. Barely. It drops big though. That was another thing. I'm like, God, dang these guys. They make the graph so much harder to see because there's such outliers.
I'm mind blown by those numbers now. That is
Yeah.
John Reyes, bro. Holy.
I think I said like in episode 1 that when we get to the end, you'll realize that John Reyes is probably the best YouTuber out there.
At least the shorts game.
Yeah, it's John Reyes, Ryan Williams, Raymond Warner,
OG Blake.
Yeah, and then like Striker and Savage.
And Sondeezy's been in the top 10 on a lot of these lists too.
Yeah, dude, Sondeezy's one. He's just like he's doing his thing.
He's doing his thing.
He's a big for someone who's like just core
rider, yeah.
Riding.
Yeah.
Like he's doing a solid job.
Yeah.
I'd almost be like for the average rider, if you want to try to mimic someone,
Sondeezy.
Mimic Sondeezy. I mean, if you want to go the John Reyes route,
if you're
cool.
street,
That's
I think if you're a little more park, you're more going to be a Raymond Warner.
Yeah, totally. It doesn't mean you can't try to do what everyone else is doing. Like look, use these graphs to see who the top performers are if that's what you want to be, and like I don't know, like pick and choose between them, like what they're doing.
Let's look at it real quick, Addy. You got the Flatland King, the big ramp guy / BMXer.
Yeah.
And
he's got like the compound. He's one of those like I have my own thing, which is like the only other person are the Funk Bros who aren't on here.
I don't know enough about OG Blake to comment on him, so I'm not going to say nothing because I don't know enough about him. But Sondeezy is like the rail street park kid who's got all the tricks. Makes total sense. You got Raymond.
He's a grown man now.
Raymond Warner is
he's over 18 , right?
Dude, Sondeezy's got to be like 20, 25,
20 something.
20
yeah,
something. I don't know.
My bad,
23,
Sondeezy.
23, like
sometimes my brain is stuck like 15 years ago to where I'm like, oh yeah, that kid, and like that kid is like married with their own kids now, you know, and I'm still calling them like that kid.
Got his life better than us, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Raymond Warner. You know, the Park King. You know what I mean? Like these
he's one that's like, oh wow, Raymond Warner. He dropped a lot when you get to the shorts, but still impressive, very impressive. Mad Gear and Core are ones where I'm like, what? How'd you get all the way up there?
Okay. Huh. Interesting.
And our boys.
It's interesting to see Too Real for the shorts drop so low because he's popping on like things like TikTok, you know, or even Instagram.
I think that's wise. He's a TikTok guy,
but he doesn't put the effort into the YouTube shorts. Like if he moved that effort over to YouTube, I think he could be getting bigger numbers.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I imagine the strategy is like stick with where you're strongest a little bit. So like his Instagram is probably also a place where he's preferring to post shorter things.
Homie in chat
could
says
be wrong.
OG Blake is more of a park guy. Yeah, that's what I figured. But I don't want to comment unless I watched a few videos first.
Yeah, and we looked at, we saw his stuff.
Yeah.
I just kind of forget at this point,
Yeah.
but, definitely.
He was British homie. Yeah, I think right.
I don't remember, but
whatever.
I forget.
Well,
but look into him.
We'll do a video on OG Blake at some point.
Real quick, if you want to look, I know we briefly did it, but just focus on the people who didn't post. That's another one where it's like, whoa. Because again, this is about YouTube trends, and a big trend is not posting shorts at all. Because we did what, like 60 something accounts, and almost half didn't do any. So there are some big surprises there, like in urban art. This one's organized alphabetically.
I think what people don't seem to realize too, especially these accounts that posted long format videos, that you can post a few shorts to help try to boost your long format video. You know, like you should.
Totally.
Even if you don't want to do shorts, at least try to do them to promote the few times you're doing a long format. because that's
Yeah,
they're
and
going to
like,
promote the short more than they're going to promote the long. That's YouTube's just that's the way it is right now. It won't
and
be
it's
that way
so
forever,
easy to
but
do. Like, I'm shocked Ethic just didn't even try.
yeah,
They've got so much like, yeah, just cut up a long video as like a preview to get people to see it and
yeah.
make it into a short.
It's
Or just
understandable.
take some random ass clip. Any random clip.
I understand when I see someone like once again Badger not doing it. That's fine. I dig.
Yeah, that
Hey,
makes sense to me.
Badger doesn't need to. His videos already get a good amount of views, right?
Yeah,
But
and he strikes me as someone who's like, listen, I just want to put out videos for like the core. If they blow up, great. I don't got a problem with that. But he doesn't seem to be out there like, oh, I got to do something like gimmicky
all the
and
brands
whatnot.
though, like you're slipping. Undialed, you guys obviously
Dude,
already were done.
Proto
So
and River did nothing. Prime did nothing. North Native Fusion and
Aztec,
Aztec, like everyone.
Dissidents and Dissident, the whole Dissidents warehouse. It seems like didn't do it right because you have
Yeah, it's like all
Ethics
the
on
big
here.
brands are like, we're not gonna do our homework. You guys don't want to turn it in?
Wait,
They're like, yeah, screw it. We don't want to do it. Like the huge
oh yeah, Ethics.
brands are on here that aren't doing it.
Yeah,
So don't feel like too bad. Like, oh, they're hating on us because like, I don't know, everyone seems to be in the same boat. Oh yeah, these were the ones that were really dumb. We end with, is this the last chart?
no.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so this was one that's like kind of fun
You
to
have
look
two
at,
more.
but really doesn't tell you anything.
You have two more after this.
Okay. So yeah, this was basically like, again, you could tell by the title. So I take their average that their top 5 long form videos got, average views. How many per subscriber was that? And this was more to just, again, give an idea of like, okay, who kind of who was putting out videos that performed better given how many subscribers they had, which tells you that more people are like kind of coming outside their network to
Which are a lot of
watch
the
them.
newer brands, right? Are all in
That's
the
what I'm
top.
saying. This one is like, again, it doesn't tell you the most because it the way I did it, it harms the brands who have been around for a long time, who blew up during the good days of like the 2017, era. Yeah, it kind of harms them, especially like Dakota down there. And like, yeah, so this kind of flips everything. So the people who are newer, they get a lot more views per subscriber. But maybe go one chart down. Again, this might be one. If the next one's the average instead of the total, you get a slightly better. Oh, what's this funky one I did? Oh, views for subscriber, long, top 5 average. Oh, this one you at least see their subscribers. I had to put them as negatives so I could get them on the other side of the chart. Again, this is funky, but kind of a easier way to tell. I averaged the number of views for their top 5 videos, and then one side shows how many subscribers they actually have. So I figured that kind of helped. I know, dude. It's dumb.
I can't even figure out like what Heligrip's even at because I'm like, what? We're at 16.
I know. It's so hard. Like the only one you can kind of track are the top 2, and then Ryan Williams, and the rest are like, what?
All right, homie in the chat says, from what I've heard while discussing it with Anton, he said he doesn't upload shorts because it messes his long view count out. Yeah, that's fine because he's already getting 100,000 a video, right? You guys are popping off in Russia, so he don't need to upload a short. But for the rest
what
of
is he saying? Wait, if you upload a short, it brings down your long form view total?
He said it because it might mess with his long video view count, which I have heard, Addy. I have heard like that. That's a thing for the bigger dudes. But when you're a littler dude, you just need to get your video out there, right? So any way you can, in my opinion, you might as well.
But like the algorithm will be like, oh, you're uploading shorts. We don't need to push your long game. Like pick a lane kind of thing.
I guess.
Oh.
I mean, like that's the thing is like. Or you know what a lot of those dudes do too? I've noticed this with like streamer folk is that they'll have like 2 channels, right? They have one channel where they just upload like all their shorts and shit. And then they have their main channel where they just upload their main stuff.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm sure there's other ways of going about it, but yeah.
Well, yeah, you'll see here basically the more subscribers you have, the less views per subscribers you get.
Like
Like
he
you can see
believes that the
all the
algorithm
blue.
favors you either being a short king, shorts king, or a long form YouTuber. No in between.
Short
Yeah,
king or a long king, yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. That's he might be onto something. Um we're neither at Hella Grip. We kind of average out at both, right? So, it's fine.
I mean, it'd be interesting to see someone who's big on, and I'm sure we have one here, but like who's the biggest or doing the best at doing both. Because it could be that like it's just a either you're a short or a long king because that's just what you're best at. You know, so it seems like you do worse because like it's an algorithm thing, but really it's like no, you just like you're better at your shorts. You know, and because you're doing more shorts, those just do better. But I don't know. We don't practice this enough ourselves with Hella Grip to really have a better idea. So interesting point. We will consider it.
I will say I think we've gained a lot more subscribers just from looking at our own analytics on YouTube. We've gained a lot of subscribers in the past year because of the short game. And when we do a long format video, we don't really. It seems from what I'm seeing behind the curtain, the long format videos get good views. Like Isaac's video comes out, it's probably all the people who already have subscribed to us watching that versus the shorts for some reason seem to be reaching people that don't subscribe to us, and we gain subscribers from that. That's what it looks like behind the scenes. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. This is our last graph, and this is kind of a same different type of viewing because I didn't show the amount of subscribers there, but yeah, your views for subscribers for your shorts. This is the average. Again, I could have done so many different graphs. It was kind of like we just wanted to put it out. So it's like, oh, I got like a couple hours to just throw something together and also figure out how to even build graphs in Excel with like a bunch of different data. So this is kind of showing who does better with views for the amount of subscribers for their short game. And John Reyes back on top. Back on top. And Sondeezy, OG Blake, Ryan Williams. Like this is where, yeah, makes sense. The vault, oof, way down there. Way down. But again, at least they're posting shorts on like the
How many shorts do they post? Do we remember?
No, but it's up there.
Total upload of shorts. Where was the vault? Because we got to be fair and be like, okay, well, they only did this amount. Where are they?
The vault did 27.
So, I mean,
it's like 2 a month.
For where they're at.
And they have a lot of subscribers too. Remember, they're way up high on the subscriber list.
I see. I wonder if they're believing the theory of don't do it.
Yeah, like, but they're one like they have a lot of yeah, they're that's kind of interesting that they had a decent amount of shorts. They have a lot of subscribers, but they're at the very bottom versus like John Reyes, Sondeezy, OG Blake. They have a ton of subscribers, but their average is actually pretty high.
True. Which disproves the short king versus long king format.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly. And like, dude, John, for the amount of subscribers he's getting tons of people that aren't subscribed to him looking at his shorts. Like scan over, what's his average?
37.
So yeah, so he's having 37 views per subscriber.
Dude, I mean, look at 10.
Which means there's for every one person watching it, there's like 36 or whatever. I could be screwing this up that are like not subscribing that are watching it.
10.4 at 5.83.
Yeah, some of those smaller brands, they really blow up when you kind of mess with the numbers a little bit.
Huh. I would have thought we would have been higher on this list from what I just said, too. I would have thought we would at least be at the 1 mark, but...
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I would have thought so, too.
I'm a little disappointed by this final chart, Addy. Kind of...
Hey, at least we have, we're about half. 0.4. views per subscriber. So like over half our subscribers aren't watching our shorts on average. And again, these are your top five. Top five
Top
short. Your
five.
best performing ones. So everyone's way worse overall average, not the top five. Again, the top five is just to give like benefit of the doubt. If you're really doing like, I don't know, taking your best work, how is it doing?
Right.
Your bet. Trying to give, again, now that this is the last graph, an idea about for the best stuff that's out there, scooter stuff, how is it performing
Right.
over the various brands?
Right.
If you looked at overall average, which would have been way more informative, potentially, I don't know how much these graphs would change and just the general consensus after going through all of this stuff. But yeah, I think safe to say again, still John Reyes, Raymond Warner, Ryan Williams, OG Blake, Savage and Stryker. They're the big dogs out there.
Yeah.
Ian McDonald randomly popping up on this one.
I'm a big fan of Ian McDonald, man. I like that guy.
Yeah.
Nice.
And the bigger brands are just kind of like making scooter parks.
It's the highest I've seen Delaney on any of these charts was right here.
Yep. She's doing all right.
But she's always been like TikTok queen, so
yeah, well, especially in the last couple years, she's definitely been prevalent on like social media throughout like various platforms also. So that must help her own channel. Especially like the Vault, and Hella Grip. Oh yeah, what were my total insights overall? Okay, these are things we've mentioned a lot, but stuff to talk about.
Okay.
Overall, not a lot of uploads. This is long form. Not a lot of uploads.
Not a lot.
Brands focusing more on posting shorts. I think that's supposed to be a question mark. Major brands falling off. A lot of that has to do with the shorts. So you could say, well, hey now, that's not indicative of brands falling off. They're just not playing the short game. I don't want to say beg to differ, but I do feel like not doing the shorts game is a lot of brands just being like, I give up on this. And it kind of shows that you see a little bit with that with their long form posting. What's the next one? But I said some major brands. Not all major brands are falling off. Dude, hold up on those. Most brands with lots of shorts, okay. That's something we brought up a bunch. Take it all with a grain of salt. Even though they had a ton of videos, shorts and long, that blew up, on average, people were a lot lower, which is not a great thing. But I imagine that would be for most, just all of YouTube, not just Scootering. There's tons of channels, have a bunch of big ones, and if they have a lot of content, there's a bunch that kind of regresses towards the mean. What's this last one? Continuing trend of individual... Oh, that's a big one.
I think that there's even going to be a movement. I think it's already happening in skateboarding, where you're going to see way more individuals making their own YouTube channels and posting their short format videos directly onto YouTube, especially if TikTok actually does shut down here in the US.
Yeah, that's something that kind of goes with the rest of it, or really with 1, 2, and 3, which is have brands. One, are individual riders just posting more on their own?
Yes.
When stuff would have traditionally gone to the brands, like when we were
100%
heavy, and then on top of that,
oh, you just called me
that
fat,
does seem to be
bro?
What?
You said when we were heavy.
Yeah, I was trying to, when I don't want to say, when things were good.
Yeah.
Or at least when we were younger and growing up, you would give stuff to the brands. That's how it worked. For various reasons. So riders are now posting their own, but on top of that, are brands acknowledging that as a trend, recognizing that as a trend, and acknowledging that, yes, this is a trend. And we believe that whether or not we like it, the future is individual riders are going to post more of their own content. And that explains why they're posting less long form and less short form. Down 10.
100%. 110%. And that I don't think
is that good or bad?
I don't even think it's gonna be a trend. maybe it is a trend. We'll see. Only time can tell you that. But I think
Like will it fade out like a
will
short term?
will it fade back the other direction? I don't know. We're like, cause like back in they talked about this on Nine Club last night actually. Back in the day, people were really worried about being judged. Like, you didn't do certain things because you thought other people in the industry might think you're whack, right? That's kind of gone out the door. Everybody's like, fuck it, I'm gonna post whatever because I'm just trying to get that bag. You know, I want to get paid here, guys. So they're willing to do
Yeah.
whatever. It seems at this point, there isn't that. No, I give my content to the brand. They decide whether or not it fits the image, and then they drop it. That's gone completely away, right? So, will it turn back the other way? Probably not, but you never know. It could. It could turn the other way, and everyone's like spooked again, and they don't want to post their own footage.
Do you think? Because I've noticed this with huge brands, where a brand, say like a Clorox, this is gonna, I'm making this up as I go.
Sure, Clorox, love them.
Or let's go. Okay,
Big
I
fan.
saw this today. Dove soap, right? Huge brand. Traditionally, they do their own commercials. Like they hire out someone, but let's just call it in-house commercials.
Right, like-
They make the commercial, put it out, and it's on TV, and that's the traditional way. Like a brand like a scooter brand putting out like a full video. Today you've got Capron Funk posting like, here's my Dove men's soap.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. So now they're reaching out to another brand, but not the same type of brand. They're like a marketing brand. But like Capron ain't making soap. Even though he's his own brand, he's not the soap brand. He's just pumping it. Is that kind of what may happen or is happening in like scootering is now you've got two separate brands instead of the brand, which is the company making the products, and then the rider. Who's a rider? But they're sponsored by the brand. Now you've got all these riders who are their own brand, riding for other brands, but they're not necessarily competing brands, where now the riders are just a marketing brand, but they're not going to be making the products that compete with the brand that they're pushing.
Well, you keep saying brand, but I think that you got to use the word influencer because Capron is an
influencer. But you know
so the
that's
brand,
what all
the brand
but
talks.
influencers are saying that I'm an influencer, but I'm also my own brand.
But I don't want.
You know.
But that gets that whole everything you just said. I was so confused by all of it because we have to be able to say the difference between the two. I know influencers are going to say that they're their own brand, but they're fucking not. Am I an influencer? No, I work for a brand, right? Tubi works for Hella Grip. I'm not an influencer. I just work for Hella Grip, right?
Yeah, but we're doing this on the Hella Grip channel.
Exactly,
we're not like...
exactly. Capron is a straight up influencer. It's the Capron Funk channel.
Yeah.
And then there's also the Funk Bros. That gets a little confusing, but he's an influencer. So let's, for the sake of...
I guess they're a tough one because they are their own thing now. I guess we would have to think of like a scooter rider.
Okay, just for the sake of talking about that whole Dove thing and all that you just discussed, let's say he's an influencer and then that Dove is the brand. They, at this point, major corporations like that, they have a department that just goes after other influencers that they think will help them. So somebody at the Dove... And I don't know.
Yeah.
Somebody else owns Dove, I'm assuming, right? There's a major corporation.
Yeah, it's like Johnson & Johnson.
Right, exactly. So in that department at Johnson & Johnson, we're using it as an example, there was somebody that like, this guy is popping or is popping in the right field that we think we need to reach that market. So they're like, oh, we're going to contact him, right? It's It's just as simple as that. I don't think there's too much thought otherwise into that. They clearly have numbers that they're looking at to go, hey, he reaches this age demographic, male. I'm assuming Capron reaches a mainly male audience. And they're like, okay, he reaches this age and they're mainly male. We need to get that group. He seems nice and he's not going to be saying something controversial in the next couple of years, right? And they're like, all right, He's safe. He's a safe bet. That's why they don't come to someone like us or something of the sort where we're gonna be like, fuck shit, motherfucker, or, you know, like something like that, where it's like, oh damn, like you just blew that. You know what I mean? Like we probably just got demonetized for this episode because I just said that. Right?
Yeah, no,
right?
I dropped a few earlier.
No, I'm just saying as
dude.
an example. Like Capron's not gonna do that. He's not. So then Dove's like, oh, we need somebody like him to fit into that program. And it all comes
but
down
he's
to
not. They know he ain't making. So I get what I'm trying to like suss out here is like the power seems to be shifting a little bit to the individual riders, but is that really what's happening, or is it kind of like the brands are now like outsourcing the marketing to the rider to individual riders and like you guys deal with that now, because at least you're potentially not. Like brands could still do their thing, focus on their products, but they don't necessarily have to put out the videos now. They just let the riders market stuff, and that's okay as long as it's not a rider who has like their own brand that's competing.
I think
or are the bigger brands losing the power and this is going to be the end of them, and soon it'll be just Raymond Warder scooters. But then he's going to have to deal with the issue when he's his own brand and he wants to get people to sponsor. Like, is this the beginning of some just like
it's a circle.
Rise and fall cycle?
Yeah, 100%.
Or can it somehow separate and then you have your marketing wing and then your production of actual products wing?
Unless you're...
And there's like a harmony.
Addy, it's as simple as this. Unless your company is big enough to have in-house filmer who's on staff and is filming all of your riders, and then you're, as the brand, controlling the content that is being put out, right? Unless that's exactly how it's working, then the riders themselves are in the power, like you said. But the issue is that also weakens the brand. And then those riders who are now in control have to understand that because you're in control of your own destiny, it's weakened the brand. You can't expect the brand to have a ton of money and fly you out everywhere because you're now in control of your own footage and you're releasing it. The brand, you know what I mean? Like that's the thing. So now, like you just said, now you're in control of your own destiny. If you want to go on a trip, you better make money off your own footage to afford to go on that trip because the brand can't afford it anymore. And you've been taking all your own footage and dicing it up, right? So I don't know. It's a double-edged situation. And it benefits some people. Like it benefits John Reyes, where he's controlling all of his own destiny. He's putting it out, and he's making money on it, right? But maybe for a street rider who's posting all of his bangers on Instagram, and then he turns to his brand and he goes, hey, guys, I need to go on a trip. And the brand's like, well, dude, you haven't given us anything. We can't put in our budget that you need to go on a trip because you haven't given us anything all year or what have you.
And also on top of that, if you're like a typical brand, you're like, it's been so long since our YouTube was blowing up. Yeah, we could pay for you to go out there. We'll drop $10,000 and fly you and some people out and pay for all that stuff. But then when we put the video on our channel, it's going to get 10,000 views. You know, and we spent all that money versus you could put out like a tail whip in your front yard and that's going to get 100,000 views, granted as like a short. So is it like, have we reached a point now where like, can a brand ever put out like a full length video now, pay for the rider to go out to do it? The rider gives the brand all the footage, you know, like maybe they'll post a little bit of like, hey, we're out here on their own channel, their own Instagram. Is that still like cost beneficial for a brand, or have we reached the point where like that's almost impossible now? Like paying to fly out a bunch of riders who have their own Instagram channels, but then even putting the video out on the brand's channel, is that almost pointless now? I don't know. Is a brand better off being like, yeah, we'll fly you guys out to Spain and you just post on your own channel? You know, do whatever you want with the footage, but just like tag us in everything, because at this point, if we put it on our channel, it's pointless. You know,
I think
like I guess where's the harmony? Like, what do you see as like the perfect situation?
It's all dependent. Like it depends on what brand we're talking about and what riders we're talking about.
Yeah, very true.
So it could change. Like, are we taking Anton and throwing him his views from Russia, I feel like even if he makes a guest appearance in a Heligrip video, that Heligrip video, this is a for instance, will skyrocket to the #1 of our view count instantly, right? Just by his 100,000 views, right? Like Josh just commented, come on, Addy, Ruthless has 51K. It's at 51K. As we just looked, someone like Anton, his average upload is 100. And how many videos did he upload last year? Like a shit ton, wasn't it? Like a lot.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, that was from the golden era. I mean, I guess that's like the Ruthless, when that came out, that was like the time for brands to put out long form videos.
I was told to pull this up by the Russian
and I feel like
homie.
people are like bigger brands have been trying to play that game and are realizing that it's not affordable to do that.
Russian,
or even if you can't afford it, you don't get a good return on investment.
I don't know how to say your name, man, and I don't want to just butcher it, so I'm just gonna call you Russian homie. He mentioned
Richard Zelenka.
No, Richard. He mentioned Richard Zelenka. Hold on. You should look up Richard Zelenka and all the collaborations he does with local Czech Republic brands. And I pulled up Zelenka, and because I do see this all the time as well. I mean,
I didn't know Supreme and Louis Vuitton are from the Czech Republic.
No. It's like a cool guy store that, sells that kind of stuff. Like, what was that one we used to watch in Arizona with the Chummy's World or whatever? It's like one of those, Ad.
Yeah.
What was his name?
Oh. Yeah, something like that. Slobby's
World or whatever. It was from Tucson,
yeah.
right?
Hell yeah.
But look, and I mean this with no offense, nothing against Addy. Josh says that Timur. How do you pronounce that?
Timur. I've always just said Timur.
Timur? Okay.
That guy's sick.
Yeah,
he's from way back in the day.
Timur.
I met him.
That's whose Russian homie is. I'm sorry, dudes. I'm sorry.
That's who said it?
That's who's saying all this stuff. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, dude. He's from way back in the day.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if I've been mispronouncing your name for like 2 days.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to do that, because I knew I was going to mispronounce it.
Oh, my bad, dog. It was an honor to meet him finally.
The Zelenka thing is dope. Don't get me wrong. And Zelenka, get your bag, homie. But this only has 4 comments. So clearly, if I was this store,
3, right? One is like the brand.
If I'm this store, I'm kind of like, that was interesting that we collaborated with him, or whatever it may be. I don't know what's going on here. I'm very confused. But yes, he does seem to do a lot of collaborations. I see him all the time posting things. Like, I'm sure, yeah, he tags BMW CZ. Like that. That's pretty impressive that he's collaborating with
the Czech Republic BMW.
Yeah, that's crazy. Good for him. Zelenka, fly me and Addy out to Czech Republic. We'll.
I mean, yeah, dude, it's tough because I want to stay focused on like scooter brands and scooter riders and that kind of. Oh God, what's the word I'm looking for? Not climate, but that network versus like just in, because it all. What's happening just globally with brands and influencers also kind of dictates what happens in just the smaller niche market of scootering. But it's like I want to kind of try to stay focused on current riders and how and the brands that make scooter products versus like a guy who used to ride a lot who's now collaborating with brands that are outside scootering. So like this is cool and nice to see, but like I guess it's a little off topic talking about like a guy who doesn't ride as much doing like BMW collabos.
Well, hold on.
Hold
on, Ad. The guy who didn't ride much was the guy who did the Dove commercial or Dove sponsorship. Zelenka rides constantly.
That's what I'm saying. Like it is good to bring it up, which is kind of why I bring up the Funk Bros and whatnot.
Yeah, he barely rides or doesn't even ride at all.
Yeah, but I'm like, I guess what I'm getting at is like, what do you think will be the future between like a core scooter brand and a core scooter rider who's like, I just want to ride scooters and promote scooter stuff? Like, where's the harmony going to be going forward with a brand like Heligrip and our riders who can't go out and make money off of like a BMW sponsor, or maybe they could,
what was the last video we just released? Matt Tyler. Matt Tyler's married, has a full-time job, works a full-time job. moved out of the Bay Area, lives with his wife down in SoCal, right? And he goes, "Hey, Tubi, out of the blue, I got a full part. we fire this off on the channel? Hell yeah, Matt. Of course. You know, each person's different, you know, and you can't, everything you're saying, Addy, you can't predict any of that and where it's going to go and what it's going to be and how it's going to affect each company. It's how the company plays it out and who they choose to ride for them and so forth and so on. Zelenka rides for freaking Ethic and all those brands, right? And on the side of that, he's making all these wacky deals with all these crazy corporations.
Dude, European riders got it so good, bro, that they could do that. Well, it's like Hail Mary getting all those sponsors back in the day. Like they are so down with other sports and like niche things. Like in America, ain't no way you're getting like a BMW
I don't know because didn't Dakota do a thing with the shaving company back in the day?
I was gonna say Dakota would have been the only one back in the day, but nowadays I don't know, man.
Nowadays
I don't know.
No.
Europe's just sick with it.
Nah, because John Reyes did a deal with B&H. That's insane. Mm-hmm. I was totally like, damn, John Reyes
makes sense when you look at his numbers. You're like, oh shit, he could branch out.
Yeah,
but he's one of those like fudging the line of like he is core scootering. It does.
It's so hard to tell.
But like Matt Tyler's one, maybe you tell me if I'm wrong. And sorry, Matt, if I'm wrong, but like he doesn't seem like he's someone who's like on the regs trying to blow up his Instagram and his own YouTube channel, which might be why he's a little more down to just be like, oh, hella grip, you just take this video.
Yeah, that's what I said though. It all depends on the people, you know? Right? And that's the same thing, Addy. Like a lot of kids choose to give their videos to freaking Trendkill, right? Over brands like Nolan, which was the video we were gonna maybe try to watch at the end of this. He gave his video to Trendkill. Nolan rides for us. Would I have taken that fucking video and posted it on our channel? Hell yeah, I would have been psyched. Nolan, the rider, chose to give it to Trendkill. That's his MO. If he wants to give it to that, like you can't say nothing about it, right? What are you gonna say?
Especially because I mean we're just, you know,
the brand. Here's how I look at it, Addy. The brand either can support that, which Hella Grip did. We shared and said, hey, this is out on that channel, or you can not support it and not support your rider. It's on that brand to decide. You know what I mean?
And just be bitter about it.
And be bitter about it, or not even bitter, just not do anything. Which, as we saw, a lot of scooter brands seem to be just checking out on uploading their own videos, check out on supporting their riders. Even reposting about other companies that maybe they ride for. I mean, dude, we've been around long enough that we know, and I don't need to say what brands and stuff. There's certain brands that don't want their riders to even ride for other brands. They have contracts that say, hey, you have to ride this certain amount of parts, and you cannot ride for this brand.
Yeah, and like you got to post this amount of content.
There's been a couple of homies we've tried to get on the roster back in the day even. And I could probably even say one. We talked to T-Bone, and he was like, nah, man, can't happen. Mad Gear and stuff won't happen. It was like, that's fine, dude. Totally dig. We love you, Tyler, but it ain't going to happen, right?
Woo!
So, I mean, and that was back in the early days of Hella Grip. So,
yeah, I guess. No, I think it makes sense. For every situation is different, and I think I'm with you. Overall, the best thing for both parties, the brand and the rider / influencer / their own brand, it's kind of respecting each other and trying to work together and finding a balance. I'm just still intrigued. Like take a brand like us, and then take a rider who. Kind of a little separate from Matt Tyler, like how do you think it's going to be just your average product brand in scootering, and then your average rider who really is focused on boosting their own social media account? Where's the balance? What's that balance going to look like going forward? Only thinking about like a brand with social media aspirations and just aspirations as a product brand has a rider who also is interested in blowing up their own accounts on social media. What does that harmony look like between them? You know?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I think it depends. It's so dependent on each brand. Timur, whatever. I'm sorry, dog. He did point out too, DB. had a beard sponsorship, and I will say DB hooked up your boy Tubi, and I kept that. I had it for years because I only used it every now and then. But DB hooked me up with some of that beard stuff.
Like the pomade or whatever. Yeah, yeah.
He gave me some. Remember when he came out and stayed? He gave me a whole little kidderoonie. Yeah, DB did have beard sponsor, but DB was
those were great because you're not stepping on anyone's toes and scootering when you have a beard sponsor. If anything, you're a brand like, hey, that's good. You getting that beard sponsorship, that product, that's getting us more views.
But he was also a hustler. DB was a hustler, man. He was good about getting out there and doing that kind of stuff. I'm surprised DB never turned into a YouTuber, especially because he was part of the Phoenix threesome, which would be him, in my opinion, him, Raymond, and John.
Yeah.
And he's the only one out of the three of them that didn't. But, he's doing great. He's got a kid and married and, living the dad life. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I always thought DB would be one that's like, oh, he's going to get that 1 million subscriber, medal on YouTube.
Bonding Tape just said, Urban Art had an issue with my son riding for River, but then he came to an agreement and my son eventually left UA. Okay, we don't know anything about any of that because that's probably Urban Art way after, long after Addy was already gone. But that's interesting.
Well, they worked it out. I always thought it was impressive that, and weird, that Ethic and Urban Art, I don't know at what capacity they worked it out, but that JD and Maxime were able to ride for Urban Art and Ethic because it was like, oh, they're only sponsored by Urban Art for like the forks and the bars, but like the decks are still there. And I think for anyone looking, they're just confused. Like, also, oh, you just ride for both brands,
DB did the same thing. He rode for Phoenix, then slowly phased over to Aztec, and there was quite a little bit of time there where he rode for both. And then Phoenix shortly after that went out of business. I think DB knew that was happening.
Well, Andy started his own wheel company in between all that, right?
In between all that. But that I think Rogue had already gone under by the time he was on Aztec. But you're right, Addy. He did do that while he was also DB was a hustler. DB was a hustler recently, like a year ago.
That would kind of like, that was the original drama in scootering, was like, oh, you're making other products and riding for other brands. That used to be the like issue with brands and their riders. Now it's like,
repeat that?
Like traditionally that was like what a lot of the issues were with brands and riders and sponsorships, was like, oh, what other brands can this person ride for, and that was something you had to find a balance in. Nowadays it seems like the bigger balance is video content promotion and photo promotion. Not that drama doesn't still happen, like a rider riding for multiple companies, but maybe now like the bigger debate is like, oh, what do you do with your media?
Okay, well that's also because at this point, aren't we like the last standing non-complete scooter company? It's just us, pretty much. Affinity's kind of on a hiatus, it seems.
Yeah, like. It's rare now to have someone who just does a couple things.
Us and River. Proto almost makes complete scooter.
Which is why it's hard to put River a little separate, since they are like under the same umbrella.
Okay, so us and River, like, can you think of another? What else is there? Who else makes just like one part? We make two. We make grip tape and.
I think there's a couple that just do like, I want to say, isn't there one who mostly does like grips and grip tape that isn't hella grip? But I don't think so, dude. It's hard to say now because people do more.
So I mean,
like does Tilt? This sounds bad. Does Tilt have completes?
They must.
I mean, they basically make everything. Do they have a complete that like you could just?
They have to, right?
I mean, but they're one I would lump in the like they do everything category, because we know they do everything.
Tilt scooter complete. Yeah, Broadway's got it. The Volt's got it.
Okay.
Skate USA.
Tilt. We
Skate
forgot.
Pro. Yeah, I mean it's everywhere. Yeah. Oh, even on their website here. I'll pull up the Tilt website.
Yeah. So I mean, what you're getting at, I think, is that you can't even nowadays have that issue where you ride for separate brands. Like you either. The only exception people make is like a rider also riding for Hella Grip.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
It's because it's like, they're just doing grip tape and handleboard grip. Or River.
And it was Affinity too, but like I feel like Affinity kind of this past year sorry, John, but they've kind of gone on a hiatus. So
Yeah, they're not on that list because they didn't have any videos drop.
yeah, so I mean, I don't know.
It's tough, but I've yet to see in this time where like things have kind of changed as far as like media, like is there a rider that's just started their own brand out of nowhere? Because that I guess that might be what some brands are worried about. Like all these big influencers slash riders, like they're gonna get all the views, and then eventually, I haven't heard anyone say this as like brand owner, but like eventually they're just gonna start making their own brands and they'll own everything.
Yeah,
They'll own all the
but then
marketing and they'll own the products, but I
they
haven't
don't.
seen a
They
rider
don't.
do that.
Because
That's what I'm saying. Can you think of anyone who's gone as like an influencer?
look at Braille and look at like the Andy Schrock or all those early YouTuber skateboarders. They peaked and then they crashed.
Yeah. That's what,
And
are you going to be
that's
like a
that's
TV
what
show?
happens.
Like
No.
one, like you are a TV show. Once your show is over, you're over. Yet Warner Brothers, who made the TV show or financed it, they'll be around.
Unless they
Like
create,
who's sticking around and who's falling off
unless
going
they
forward?
create a brand, that person, whoever it is, Dakota tried this. He tried to create a brand. It didn't catch on. He's disappeared. The brand's disappeared. No one cares, in my opinion. And as more
Yeah,
time
he's
goes
gone.
on, he's gone. Right? So that's that.
So like it's John Reyes is someone, even though he's
No,
top
John Reyes is
dog
smart enough
now.
to know that he's going to continue to do his YouTube career, focusing on the YouTube, because if he loses focus and tries to make his own wheel and deck company, his focus would then he's putting money into that, and he knows that's not really the money maker. For him, the money maker is doing the YouTube. So he might as well just ride for envy, don't rock the boat. I'm assuming this is his theory. He gets the SIG wheel. He probably has a great contract with those dudes for making like $5 a wheel or whatever it may be. And he's like, look, I can just make that $5, not worry with any of the stress or any of the distribution, storage, this, that, the other. And I continue to do my YouTube shit that makes me my money and forge this house and the Tesla and the this, that, the other that he's got, right? And the random piece of cement that he spins around on in the backyard. Right?
God, I wish I had one of those.
He's just got a random. I think it's so odd. It's just
God,
a random,
what I would do
square.
for a
It's just
slab of
square.
a backyard with a slab of cement
It's
is
so
my
interesting.
dream. My dream.
And he's like,
That's
I'm
all
just
I
gonna
want.
do this. I'm just gonna do this. Midnight Dude, yes, the Midnight guy. How he makes all of his own shit, yes. But then he owns a brand and he does it. And then all hold on.
And he's got no
Here's the thing
social
about
media.
Midnight. Here's the thing about the Midnight. Yeah, he does. He has his own social media.
But I mean, like we looked on the graphs.
Oh yeah. That's the thing is like ride for a brand like Midnight, where homie also is like I don't know what he was. He wanted to be an influencer or whatever. But then when he decides that he's not doing it anymore, then he closes it down for a year. Then he brings it back. And now he's like doing mountain biking from what I've seen him up to. He has like a mountain bike glove company. Cool, you know.
Yeah, last I saw it was like Ava's signature bar. And
I
like
think
that was that.
I think
as
Addy,
far as scootering.
to answer your question about influencers then having brands, I think that's what you run into. We here at Hella Grip are a legacy brand. I plan on being a part of Hella Grip until the day I die. So I guarantee to any rider who wants to ride for our brand that I promise that I will be here. And as long as I'm around, I will repost your stuff. I will make sure to shout you out on your birthday. I'm going to do all X, Y, and Z. So if you want to answer your question, why could people ride for Hella Grip? Because that's kind of what you're saying. Because we are a brand. And you're like, oh, what are brands going to do with the riders? This is what I would say as
I'm thinking more not us.
I know,
us
but,
too, but like the ones making all the parts.
Because like, look at us.
You know.
I'll be real. Look at our Instagram. I'll say it straight up here. And if anyone notices it, yeah. Hella Grip, the past 6 months to a year, all we've been doing on Instagram is reposting. I'm not actually out there filming clips with the dudes, and we're just reposting and shit, right? So, like, I at least trying to keep the account. If I can't physically be out there with the team, which unfortunately the past year I haven't been able to, but I'm still trying my hardest to do what I can do from where I'm at. Other brands sometimes seem to just stop.
Yeah.
And I can promise you, as far as Hella Grip's concerned, and that's the only company I could really answer your questions for, right? We plan on doing this, doing the most we can with what we have to work with for as long as possible. for as long as possible, right? And that's all a brand like us can guarantee. Now, these larger companies, I don't know. I don't know what their money situation's like at this point in time, what they created their overhead. The hard part, Addy, that you're asking is, as Scootering's kind of having a recession, everybody's having a recession, but as Scootering's having a recession, some of these scooter brands had become very large, like your Envy and
Which
so
tends to happen.
which and like yeah, which always tends to happen, right? What do they now do that they have to scale back, right? So their focus probably right now, Addy, is probably like, we don't even give a fuck about our riders. We got to figure out how to scale back our actual infrastructure because we got way too big with manufacturing. Maybe I'm just saying, for instance, I have no actual knowledge of this. I'm just using them as a for instance.
Well, we hear a lot through the grapevine, you know,
I have no idea.
Directly from the source.
I have no idea about
how
the Envy.
But like how the industry, yeah, I know. But like in general, how the industry is doing, we know a little bit about, you know, brands being stuck with a lot of inventory, shops being stuck with a lot of inventory a couple years ago. Like we have some insight. We're not just completely bullshitting about the state of things right now.
All I'm saying is that I think each brand is going to do it differently. Some brands are just going to stop doing it, which we've already seen. Other brands are going to try to be a reposter like us here at Heligrip. That's what we're kind of doing. And some are going to try to like Ethic has Rudy. They're like, they kind of have the in-house filmer. They're like, Rudy, get your ass out there and start filming, right?
Yeah.
So like you could see each brand's kind of doing it differently. There's no like right way, wrong way.
But Ethic, even with Rudy, like they didn't do a lot. And I know, like I had heard that I mean, this doesn't go against your point. It's just a little interjection for Ethic specific. That they have been realizing that flying out a bunch of people and doing these videos might not be the best thing going forward. As of like 2 years ago, I had heard that.
I don't know.
From someone close to the whole situation.
It seems like they still are flying out people and doing videos. To me, it seems
since then, I'm like, well, they're still doing it, but it's like you could go to an event and like they're gonna be there for the longest time. It was like, dude, you guys are always paying for travel, like international travel.
Maybe it's more if they stop doing Coalition, because it seems like they've stopped doing that.
Well, that was one that is weird because Coalition was one where all the other brands pay and the riders pay to come to you. Like they put up money for it, like the award, and I'm sure they rented out like the venue space that cost some money, but they were also, it was like Rudy was everywhere.
Yeah, but like with Coalition, like half those dudes rode for brands that probably were affiliated to Dissidents. So
that's true.
I'm just flying a lot of people out, even though they weren't flying everybody out. Like I would say, if it wasn't half, it was at least a third of those people were either on, Ethic or one of the other affiliated Ys or whatever, these affiliated Dissidents brands. So I don't know. Like they were spending a lot of money.
Yeah. But and Heligrip's one, we're one of those weird ones where we were media. That was our thing. We were like the first scooter media brand out there. That was our thing.
No, I don't know.
I'm going way back to like with the Overshow, and us putting out, like, we didn't have scooter products, but we were putting out like scooter content. Granted, it was our content. We weren't resharing another brand stuff. We weren't like what was the website? Was it Scooter Zone? Not Scooter Zone. The one
Scooter Resource.
Not Scooter Resource.
Inside Scooters.
Inside.
Yeah.
We weren't Inside Scooters.
Well, they were more of like a blog.
But like our background has always been like video production. Well, at least that's how we started. So we're one of those weird brands where like, yeah, we're a scooter brand, but like we got our start out just making scooter videos and amongst other types of videos.
Oh damn, that's so fucked up. Yes, sympathy makes just forks. Yes.
Yeah. Sympathy. I mean, they gotta have aspirations though. They gotta have I mean, Sympathy would love like Hello Grip. I
Someone
feel like
pointed
we
out that
started
we
it.
didn't mention them, and I was like, oh yeah, that's
That is
true.
true.
That is true.
That looks bad on us.
That looks bad. Sorry, Matt. We apologize.
But we kind of like when we started out.
Yeah, I loved Inside as well.
We always thought like, yeah, it's Hella Grip. Like our name kind of pigeonholes us into the type of product we're gonna make versus Sympathy. Maybe I'm wrong. Like, and other brands that have done this.
Sympathy
wasn't always their goal to just be a fork company.
That's true.
You know, it was
that's a good point, Addy. I don't know if I'm about to look it up. Did they ever actually say we're just forks?
Yeah, like I wouldn't be surprised if brands that are starting out, like even Affinity with the bars, like they had aspirations of making everything at some point, but you just start out versus Hella Grip. When we started out, it wasn't like, all right, we're just going to do grip tape for 2 years. Then maybe we'll do handlebar grips, and then it's going to be decks and bars and clamps. You know, like that's the goal. Not saying that isn't our goal, but we've never talked about that being our goal.
I will point out,
I mean, that would be great.
Very similar to almost like a Midnight. It says collection. It doesn't say like we're a fork brand. So McKean has left himself in a great position to where he technically with Sympathy can manufacture anything he wants because he hasn't committed the way we have, as Addy's saying. With the word grip, we're kind of in a position to where we really got to stay with things that are grip related. It would be weird for us to then make a deck. Well, you put the grip tape on the deck, but
anyone could get away with it. We could get away with like Hella Grip deck.
Yeah.
And like I doubt like people would say like, oh, it's interesting Hella Grip. Like this isn't grip, but like I don't think people would care. They'd probably be hyped.
Does Affinity say just Affinity bars, right? No. Rider owned, operated.
Yeah,
it just says Affinity too. So I guess we're the only idiots. We're the only ones that were like, put the name of what we do in the name.
Yeah. I get like all I was kind of getting at is like just trying to let the people know, like, even though we are grip tape and like focused on grip tape products, like we still do a lot video stuff because that's kind of always been our thing is like video production more than anything. But now, I mean, everyone's doing it now. Like it used to be when we were starting out, it was like, oh, you guys have like a nice camera and like editing software, like you're real deal just by being able to film and edit. Now everyone and their mother is a walking video production factory. Like if you got an iPhone or any phone for that matter, you're now a walking production factory if you want to be.
I think what Addy was saying about Ethic, just to clear it up with the chat here, is that it wasn't that they're not doing good. I think they're doing top dog as far as the industry is
Ethic
concerned.
is, yeah. Ethic is probably one of the best performing brands.
He's talking about the amount of videos that they've been putting out has seemed to have dwindled back from where they were 4 or 5 years ago, and they were pumping a lot of media out.
Which is everyone. Yeah, that's what this whole thing is about.
Yeah,
this whole Scooter Analytics is about. Not about the brands and the products they're making.
Then you got confusing. Once you brought up the Capron thing, I think it started to get very confusing because then you were like brand versus a brand, and I own a brand, and I was like, where is Addy going with this?
I was going more with just like it.
I know what I knew what you meant, Addy, but I think that I hate the word influencer and I think it's douchey, but I think literally when you're talking about it the way you were talking about it there for a second. You have to. I know an individual thinks he's a brand, but like an individual who is a brand is an influencer. So we have to use that word to section off someone like Dakota, John Reyes, Raymond Warner. You know, all these dudes, Ryan Williams, these are all influencers. There's scooter riders who are influencers.
Yes, and that I think maybe it's like a weird semantics thing, like that their brand is that they're an influencer.
I know, but it gets so confusing.
That's their brand category is an influencer.
I know.
And our brand category is like action sports product.
Yeah, product.
Supplier.
We'll just say product, right?
Yeah. So I guess it was more I was getting at like, oh, the balance of you could still be a brand, but instead of making your own promotional content, you ship it out, hire it out to influencers, and that's okay because what they're promoting. Like even though they're promoting your product, you don't have to worry about them competing with with your brand, you know, like their lane is just promoting and that's fine.
Isn't that kind of
Versus
what
like,
white trash really was on Tilt? Wasn't that exactly what you're talking about?
yeah, in a way,
He's an
because like he's
influencer,
not,
right? He was not.
yeah, but he's not making his own products that are gonna compete,
He did.
you know.
He did make products that competed.
Um,
Grip tape, technically, because Tilt
yeah,
makes Tilt makes grip tape, and Undialed made grip tape, so he kind of was competing. But then the argument is that Undialed isn't Will, like it isn't his name. So
well, yeah, and going back to also like how we're one of the few where like you could ride for Hella Grip, but then also ride for another company. It's like, oh, if it's just grip tape, yeah, whatever, do your own thing, or something small like, oh, you make your own pegs.
there was
Like,
what was
fine.
that brand that made pegs?
It was
Homie, it was
yeah,
DB's
what's his
homie.
name?
It was DB's homie.
Well, there was also Hellnar, Elliot Arnold. Elliot Arnold
Oh yeah,
started
he
a
was
paint
doing it too.
company,
He
and
was
I
doing
think
it
he was
too.
still on AO at the time or something while he was doing. I could be wrong,
Yeah.
but I'm just trying to think of another product where other brands will be like, yeah, I don't care, do that.
Well, I don't know. It's hard to go back to what you were saying earlier, which just to recap and end this shit is it's hard to say where it all will lie. I think brands have to figure out how it's on the brand in a way to figure out how if they want to work with a rider or influencer, they have to decide on what level. And same with the rider. The rider has to decide, yeah, I want to work with brands. There's some riders that don't have to. They're so powerful, like a Dakota at one point. He's so powerful, he didn't have to ride for anyone. He's making enough money or whatever to where he could just go out and buy his own stuff. He doesn't need to work with anyone or deal with anybody, right? And that maybe he liked it that way. But there's other people who don't want to deal with that shit, right?
I think like, yeah, like a John Reyes is kind of like that. He doesn't, like, he technically doesn't need to ride for Envy, right? He doesn't need that $5 like you were saying earlier, but sometimes it helps give you a little bit of legitimacy. You know, like that's really what you're getting is like, oh, I actually also am sponsored by brand within the industry I'm promoting. It adds legitimacy. Versus Dakota was like, oh, I don't want that legitimacy. You know, like my wins and my medals are all I need to show that like I'm a legitimate scooter rider. I don't need sponsors anymore. But for some people, it's like, okay, even if you're not getting a lot, it might help to have just some tiny sponsor with a brand. Even if your bread and butter financially is coming from your own content that you're making and the revenue you're bringing off that, it might help to also have like Hella Grip as your sponsor to give you a little bit of that legitimacy, even though you're not getting like any money from us, you know?
And I'm not going to acknowledge what Josh Young said in the chat. That's funny, Josh, but I'm not going to read that. All right.
Classic.
Yeah.
I mean,
classic
yeah,
Josh.
I don't know. It's I'm with you. You can't really tell. It's just like what is that balance gonna look like? I think we're already kind of seeing it. Something that was just popping to my head now is like going forward, can some brands that have more money just say screw it? And maybe Ethic is the example I'm going with here, but we don't know, as we've said, if that's the case. Can Ethic just say like, yeah, we're not gonna make a lot of money, but we're still gonna do it just because like it's good for the sport to still fly people out
on videos. Addy's saying on videos.
Yeah, like we're gonna do a team video. We're gonna fly everyone out. You put it out, like you all get your clips. We'll pay for everything, and we're gonna swallow the loss because it's good for the brand and maybe later on. What I'm thinking is, and I could be wrong with this, is Red Bull. I used to work for Red Bull as a student brand manager. They would sponsor these events that looked like they spent a boatload of money
just
and like
to get
a
the
few
name
people
out.
show up.
Yeah.
And they're like, and that was their whole thing. We're going to do these wacky events across all sports and even include things that like, is this even a sport? And like, yeah, you won't get a lot of viewers as other things, but like in the end, that is kind of their brand, is like just sponsoring, like spending a boatload of money on shit.
When you think energy drink, who do you think of? You think Red Bull immediately.
Yeah,
and
because they spend so
accomplished
much.
that by spending that much, and they took over the industry. Other people have tried, Rockstar or what's another one? Monster. All these brands, they tried, but in my opinion, still the king of energy drinks, Red Bull. I rarely drink an energy drink, but when I do, the few times a year that I maybe get one, because I need to pick me up later in the day, it's always typically a Red Bull. because
I'm
of
the
that.
same,
Because
dude.
of that branding, I feel like partially, and I feel like it tastes better than the other two. But I don't know. The other thing I want to say is that like, it just, I it's so hard to explain. Like I think that you gotta like I don't know. I don't even know how to put out the words, but it just works out
Right.
or it doesn't. But and some people, like I said, they fall apart. Maybe then that's when someone who is an influencer should step up and make a brand. You know, at
Yeah,
that
it
point in
just
time. But
it seemed like people were fighting it for a while, and I don't think they're like brands are accepting it. Like I know a few years ago there was a lot of chatter, you know, that we would hear about and be a part of like, oh, like it's all falling apart. Riders are just sharing their own clips and focusing on their own Instagrams, and that's ruining it for the brands. I don't know if that's still the outlook.
well, I think part of it too was like, and I still think this is. I don't personally love this. The first week a video comes out, or the first day a video comes out, the ender's already online on a long format video. Like the rider takes
Yeah.
the ender and just posts it as a single clip on their Insta. I didn't like that. I still don't like that. But you know, if that's the rider and I think it should be, if that's the rider and the filmer, and they have decided that that's how they want to do it, fuck it. It's their decision at this point. I've come around to it to where I'm like, whatever. It's if that's how people want to do it right now, then that's how they're doing it right now. Do I think personally it's lame? Sure. But you know, it's not my, unless I'm the guy behind the camera, it's not, I have nothing to do with it really. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and people are so good now about going to the full video, like any video on YouTube, and you could just fast forward.
The one thing
to the very end if you really want to see it, you know, versus like a VHS back in the day. You're like, I gotta like literally fast forward through this whole VHS. Screw that.
I'm not trying to hate in any way because obviously Nolan rides for Hella Grip and Trendkill is Matt McKean and everyone's family here. But I was surprised that the Nolan video is called Nolan Shoemaker 909 Part. I think Tony Hawk on a podcast one time pointed out the word part makes no sense anymore. Like you used to say my skate part because you were in a long format video.
Yeah, like this is
You
my
are
section from a larger thing.
You're not a part of anything, dude. That's just your video. There's no part. You know?
Yeah, there was no bigger piece of like a pie that you took a piece out of. That's yours. It's just like you literally baked.
I swear,
one piece of pie.
I swear it was Tony Hawk. It was somebody probably on 9 Club or some shit or some podcast. Josh, maybe you know. But I think that comment, I always think about that now. I'm like, yeah, don't. I try my hardest to be like your project. I always say with Hella Grip, I especially when we're talking Addy, I always try to use the word project, not part anymore. Because it's not a part of anything. Unless
yeah, I mean, even doing a short is a project, or it can be. Like people will spend, you know, weeks planning out a single 60-second clip.
Like
you know,
Ruthless was the last time we did a long format video where there was parts. And if Cooper or Jake or one of the guys that Josh yourself, you know, those were parts. Hawk versus Wolf, I think I heard that too. Yeah, Josh sees. Josh knows. It was T-Hawk. I thought it was T-Hawk.
Oh, yeah.
Him and Jason Ellis, yeah. And when Tony says that too, it's like, oh shit, the Birdman just...
Yeah, dude,
that makes a lot of sense, dude.
From up on high or up high.
You know, like you're not a part of anything. It's just a video.
Well, I know we've been going on forever. We've kind of alluded to this, but I don't know if we've really done a deep dive into it because this is what a lot of this stuff has also been about. This YouTube analytics is just going forward, regardless of like the whole debate over brands. Is it still worth it for them to do full parts going forward? Is it worth it for anyone to do full lengths?
100%.
You know, like if you could do it, cool, but like would it even be more beneficial and get more views if you just took the amount of a full length thing and just broke it up?
Yeah, sure.
And this kind of goes into like attention spans. Like, even if it's not worth it, do people, younger riders, even want to watch a 45-minute video, or would they rather consume 45 minutes worth of footage over the course of like 3 months worth of shorts broken up between the different riders and whatnot?
Both? Why can't you do both?
You can't. No, you totally can. I'm just wondering if planning, is that what it's going to be going forward? Is the brands are going to say, yeah, we still want to do full lengths.
I draw the
but
line.
we want you to break it all up. you
Full
know, or
lengths
is it going to
or
run into the issue?
individual solo part videos?
Well,
gonna say.
both, because there's a whole that whole spectrum, you know, because it seems to be, if you looked at all this, what I was going towards is like, no, it's all got to be 60 seconds or less
I
versus like 5 minute, 20 minute, 40 minute.
I think the issue with full length videos, even in the past, and this is why you have, and like if you ever watched the Lakai documentary that they made, they talk about this when they came into the room and they played the tape, and Mark Johnson has 10 minutes. But everybody else on the squad has 30 seconds, a minute and a half. And Mark's like, sorry, guys. You know, and like everyone's like, fuck, we got crunch time. And Mark's got this. It's hard to do parts when, especially when the riders don't live in the same area, they're not in the van together, and they're stacking footage on different levels, right? And then it's like, hey, you got a deadline, and they're like, well, I don't have a filmer, yada yada yada, and it becomes this whole thing. That's why I would agree with you that our full length videos, for the most part, dead. Yes, it's unfortunate, but they are. Unless you're going to do something like how we did Ruthless, where we flew out a certain group of dudes. We said, hey, you guys are staying here. Half you're staying for 1 week. The other half staying the second week. Josh is here for both weeks. We're going to film this video, and that's that. Yes, you can accomplish something like that, or a mid-length is what they're calling it nowadays, right? Where it's like a montage video that's 10 minutes long, a mid-length. But do I think brands are going to hold back on releasing 3 mid-lengths and make a full length? No, probably not. I don't think we'll go back to that. Is that unfortunate? Yes. But the way right now is it's the mid-length time period is what we're in, where every brand seems to be doing a mid-length, you know?
Yeah, like a trip video that's like 20 minutes or just like...
It's a montage.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that seems to be where everyone's going. I think that like what we were talking about before, you can't predict it. That just seems to be where it's at. Will people go back to full lengths? I don't think so. I would like to see more full lengths on a personal level. I grew up with them. That's what I love. I love sitting there, especially when they do the big premiere. Like obviously the last one we went to was Aztec. You go to the theater, everyone's screaming, you know. I'm glad we got to do it once with hella good stuff. That was really special. We all remember it, right? Very fondly.
Very fondly.
But no, Addy, it's not. I don't think it'll go back that way. It could. Does it?
Because the one thing that made it seem big, like when we were getting, we'll scratch all that. Essentially, like it got to the point where you almost had to do like a yeah right, pretty sweet style, where it's like half. I'm just gonna say half. I know this is wrong. It's half about the writing and half about the production value. And like, oh, they did a bunch of crazy shit. They brought in like props and editing and cameras and like
in there a lot too.
Yeah, and that's what gets you to like your attention span to watch a full length. Is you're like, because you're not only going to see crazy writing, but they're going to do all this kind of production value stuff in between. They're like, well, that was interesting.
Yeah, but there's no one. You know, there was no.
But no one's doing that in Scootering.
Well, and there was no team. There was no team. Like Enjoy poked fun of that with their intros. They did it a lot low budget version of what Yeah Right was, for instance, Bag of Suck. And I love that video. It's one of my favorite videos of all time. But they were like trying to they were loosely almost poking fun at what Ty Evans and Spike Jones did with Girl. But even Girl, once Ty Evans left and Spike's, off in Hollywood, their videos, that whole production thing that you're talking about, they don't have that really the same way they used to.
Yeah, and are they in a similar spot now? Like that was cool, that paid off, but nowadays, like you can't, like that wouldn't work. And also, like how much is technology advanced? Like how do you one up that at this point?
Well, you mean like skits and stuff? Because a lot of that was skits.
Yeah, and like cool, like the green screens and shit like that, and like and also just crazy like After Effects stuff that they were doing. Like how do you one up that? Like that was like a first time, and now like you can't be the first to do crazy graphics anymore.
Weekend Skateboards does some of the funniest, best skits ever, and some of their videos are just skits. Like most of their videos actually are just skits.
Yeah.
It doesn't lead into a full length video. We're like Bag of Suck or your Yeah Right, your Fully Flared. Those all led into video parts in a more traditional feel, right? Even if you look back, remember the DVS video Skate More? How theirs was all stop frame animation. Each intro was the weird stop frame, like almost like South Parky intros.
Yeah.
The thing is that back in those days, they were selling those videos, right? They were literally selling the video. So it made sense to put a lot of money into the production of the video because you were going to recoup some of that money out of the sale of the video. Now with YouTube and music licensing and all of that, it's not cost effective to spend a boatload of money on an invisible skateboard or paper mache intros, because at the end of the day, this video is going to end up on YouTube, and people, like you said, attention span, they're only going to watch it that first one time. Like I wonder,
they're just going to fast forward and be like, all right, I just got to get to the first clip. Like I do this is dumb with stand-up comedy. I watch a lot. I always skip the first 5 minutes because I know it's going to be some dumb skit at the beginning, intro titles, the person coming out on stage, and they're going to be like, whoa, this is crazy every single time. So now my brain is trained. I'm just like, skip the first 5 minutes, get me right to the jokes. And so that could be like with writing. If everyone was doing wacky intros, eventually people were like, no, I'm just skipping. I know to skip the first 60 seconds. Well, even if I miss the first clip, I want to get right into the thing.
Going back to number 5 on your list, I think the one thing that you left off there is I think and I said this earlier, I think the trend's going to turn into people posting those same IG TikToks of themselves onto YouTube, and that YouTube could end up being a lot more similar to something like Instagram, where your favorite for extreme sports, just for extreme sports. I don't think for other styles of social media it would be as heavy, but I think for extreme sports, YouTube could just become a whole thing of like, my favorite rider is so and so. I follow him on YouTube, and that's how I see all of his clips.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, does that
I think that's how everything seems to be going short. And
then Addy, it's on the brand to make a contract with that rider and go, hey, when you release your footage on your YouTube account, can you put our logo at the beginning? We'll give you $100. Can you put it at the end? We'll give you $50. You do both, we give you $125. Give us a little price break, homie. I don't know.
Well, yeah, it's like surfers with like the sticker game in surfing. I don't know how big that is now, but I remember growing up being like, oh, that's interesting. That's like just a surf thing.
That's totally.
Where like where you put the sticker is like on your board is how much money you get.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, is it on the top? Is it with a bunch of other stickers, or is that the one sticker like NASCAR status? It wasn't like that in skateboarding, really. Like, oh, when you do a kickflip, if I pause just right and see it on your deck,
maybe
like,
that's how we'll turn into it. Where royalty will be based off if you put my thing in your video, and then you
is there a watermark? Dude, we'll pay you $1,000 watermark the entire video.
Maybe too, because you can calculate the views. At that point, you could be like, it depends. Like, we'll pay you, but it has to hit 100,000. Anything less, we're only going to pay you half the amount. I don't know. Like,
like in a surf comp, you get paid more for your sticker if you place first than if you don't place at all. You know, or I know it was like in magazine. Oh, you got in a magazine? You could see that sticker? Yeah. Well, hell yeah. You know, because for us, a lot of what we talk about is like, dude, all we ask is for the tag. Even when we see even. No, I'm just saying, like, a lot of what we gripe about is like, dude, at the bare minimum, you just had to tag that rider whose footage you stole. I'm not talking about Hella Grip dropping footage. At the very least, just tag. Like, that is something, like, we're still dealing with that as an issue, and that might be the only thing riders are doing going forward. And that's the relationship between a brand and a rider, is like, the rider posts all the content, and all they're required to do is just fucking tag at the bare minimum the brand that you're trying to promote in every video you do. Kind of like Olay, they're like, every video we put, you're gonna be the sponsor on the front, and that's how it's gonna be for riders. Is like, you ride for Hella Grip, and all that means is that going forward, everything you post has to tag Hella Grip. Not that we're doing that, but that might be it. You know, Hella Grip doesn't make videos. We just get tagged in all the videos for the people that we sponsor. You know, or whatever. Yeah.
But that's the thing too, is like, let's say you want to get on a brand and stuff, like riding their products, tagging them, riding their products and then tagging them. The thing I don't like as a TM is when people tag you and then you look and you're like, you're not even riding you're not even riding our product. Why'd you even bother tagging
Yeah,
us? That's bizarre.
yeah.
I'm not gonna hook you up. That's bizarre.
Another thing, I don't know. I know we're going on for days,
But
but
this is the last episode on this topic, so get it all
yes.
out today. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, something we haven't talked about as much yet, because I don't think it's going to be an issue necessarily, but it totally could be. Is the way this trend seems to be going. For a while it was the best rider out there gets the sponsors. Is it now going to be where you have like the best riders out there, if their marketing game isn't top notch, they're not going to be the riders that you see. Like a lot of like the Funks are good, right? I keep going back to them. They're a bad example.
They're bad, yeah, because they've been out of the
but
game
like
for.
the kids are going to be what, like John Reyes, right? John Reyes is like the best flatlander out there. But like if all you're watching is John Reyes because he's the top dog, you're missing 99% of scooter tricks that are out there. 99.9. So is that going to be an issue where the best riders, if them just doing amazing tricks isn't enough to get them views, then doesn't that hurt scootering? Because kids are just watching.
That's their fault for not collaborating with it goes back to the that's what the
Well, yeah,
brand's
and say what you want. Yeah, that's a good point. Is that their fault? Is that still, can we look at that as negative though? Like, wait, what? Like this guy, like he's focused on being the best rider out there. It's a shame if he would have to also be like a pro YouTuber in a time where the brand itself can't promote the rider. It's now on the riders themselves to promote themselves.
What version of a pro YouTube or of a YouTuber is he? Just uploading his riding footage to YouTube, or are you saying he has to make vlog format videos to make money?
Well, that's what. All right, I'm just saying. All right, what would be a scenario, or I don't know if it's the best scenario. All right, here's the situation. You have a rider, he's up and coming. We go to like a comp. We see this kid no one's ever heard of, but you're like, oh, he's like the best scooter rider out there. But he's not, like, people aren't filming him like his homies. But he doesn't care to be filmed. But like, he's going to be the best rider, or she, and they're going to be around for potentially a while.
He's a soul rider?
Yeah, like, what do you do? But like, they're not, the soul rider isn't against being famous and being well known. They're just like, hey man, I'm just focusing on like riding and being great.
It's a TM's fault.
Well, let's say they don't ride for a company, and then okay, so you now have all these brands who are like, we want this rider, but we're in an era where our YouTube, our Instagram, whatever, isn't that big because now it's all about the individual riders have all the power. How do you connect the brand with that rider and make it beneficial to both? If the rider's not interested in being a big YouTuber and the brand is, all the brands don't have any social media anymore.
And I'm the TM of the brand?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Exactly. What do you think is like,
hey man, you want to ride for us? Here's what we're going to do, homie. I'm going to make you a YouTube channel. I'm going to run your YouTube channel for you because you don't seem to want to. You're going to ride for our company, but our channel's not doing hot. And we're going to go the Scooter Brad route where we think that making a new channel is better than pumping stuff out on our old dying channel. So we're going to make you the face of that new channel. But
does that rider own the channel?
No, exactly. But DL, we own it. It's really just Heligrip 2.0, but we're going to call it Ted Bundy because that's the name of this kid. So little Ted Bundy.
Wow.
We're going to make Ted Bundy scooters.
Old TB, bro. TBs are, hell yeah. Okay, I like where you're going with this.
Right?
Okay.
And we're going to get all of our little buddies. That's going to be the name of this fan.
Our little buddies.
Bundies.
Oh, our little Bundies. Our little bundle of Bundies.
Bundies are the fans.
The Bundy bundle.
Bundy,
okay. Yeah. How many people are like, who is this? They're Google it later.
And he is going to just ride and focus on riding. And I, the TM of whatever brand, Chili Pro Scooters.
Yep. That's our future, bro.
I'm the TM of Chili Pro Scooters. And I'm trying to get Ted Bundy on the team. And I'm like, Ted Bundy, here's what we're going to do. You don't want to do social media or any of that, but we need you to. And our channel's kind of having a slump period right now. So yeah, we're going to make you a new channel. Here's the fucking contract. We're going to pay you whatever the amount is that you discuss with them a month. That makes sense for both you, the brand, as well as the rider. And maybe like because at this point you don't even know what the view count's gonna be. Does this work?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or maybe
right?
you're like, oh, we'll give you a royalty of whatever.
Okay,
and then,
that's
and
how
then
you
what
do it.
happens when the rider wants to leave? Are you just like, all right, nix the channel? Do you like, okay.
Well, what's in that contract, Dad? What's in that contract at that point?
Dude, I'm thinking here, let's just have fun with it. We're Chili, right? He's riding for Chili, but he wants to go over to Envy. We go, hey, Envy, he's interested. Do you want to buy his channel from us?
Yeah.
You could own the channel now.
Flip the channel now. Yeah, you flip the channel
and
now.
then like maybe in the contract, the rider gets a little bit of the sale from that channel being sold to Envy, you know, and that rider could say, Envy, pay a little more for that, because then I get a bigger cut, you know, like let's. And that's the future: is the brands own individual rider channels and then sell those.
So that they flip the,
you know, like life insurance policies, you know, and we're dealing with all that.
But only if that rider doesn't want to do their own social media, which is bizarre.
Yeah, exactly. Or you make an agreement like even if they do have a channel, you're like, well, I'm going to do a separate channel, you know, Anton Zykov 2.0, you know, that we're in control of.
It'd probably be like Anton Zykov Shorts or something would probably be the
second. Yeah, or like Anton Zykov, the Chili Pro Scooter Edition. It's dumb, but yeah. I don't know. I doubt that's the scenario. Every kid wants to be a famous YouTuber nowadays. I mean, even when we were growing up, it was all about being sponsored. You know, that was the goal, was just to get that clout of saying you were sponsored.
But by your local shop.
For a lot of riders.
I think it was like,
yeah.
No one had I have to say, out of our friend group, maybe, I think, yes, there was a couple, maybe a guy or two who thought I get sponsored by larger brands. But for the most part, your hopes were, I can ride for the local shop.
Yeah, and what I'm saying is, like, I can't think of anyone that we grew up with who was really, really good at any sport, but didn't have aspirations of getting some type of sponsorship. Like the truest soul rider out there. Because there's a lot of soul riders who are like, well, yeah, but you're just not that great.
All the BMX homies, because they were just like sourpusses. Schools, we are committed, remember?
Yeah, but I mean, none of them had hopes of like qualifying for X Games. You know, anyone we knew who was actually that level, not necessarily X Games, but like a pro potential. I don't know of anyone in any sport that we grew up with who was pro potential, who was like, oh yeah, I don't ever want to ride for another brand. I just want to do this and be in the dark my whole life and have no one see me and know I exist. They all had some type of sponsorship.
Austin's never going to watch this, but we pretty much just shat all over Austin and friends.
Yeah, bro. But like they were good, but like we all knew that growing up, there was like there was the best rider at the skate park, and like with each skate park, they had like their crew and their best guy. But then like, yeah, it's like with like school sports, you have like the best in school and then the best in the county and the best in the state. We were dealing with like best in the county
skater
type
homies.
Of riders.
Skater
yeah,
homies,
yeah.
Yes.
Oh, this guy's the best. Oh, this is the best rider in NorCal. But then Greater California, ain't no way you're competing with the rest of the fucking action sports industry in Southern California. I don't know. So that's all to say, like, there could be this weird scenario, but like that seems very unlikely that there's a person out there who's top dog but doesn't want to play the marketing game. But what would happen in that scenario where great riding isn't necessarily the recipe for getting lots of views? Because I mean, even like with like the Pretty Sweet example I brought up, like there was a lot of it was production value, and that's what got a lot of people to watch, but it also was like some of the best riding at the time. You know, they weren't like making up for mediocre riding with a lot of production value. Like you still needed both.
When you can't go pro, so you work at Woodward.
Yeah, dude.
Josh Young.
Dude. Hey, it's a noble cause.
Although
Woodward,
or when you are pro, and
they don't have the
money.
scooter sign.
Yeah, fuck Woodward.
Working at Woodward is one where I'm like, I gotta give him credit for allowing scooters days ago, because I was there for the very first scooter weekend. But they were still not on the signs, dude.
We got beef with Woodward. We should bro. We should go more on the attack on them.
That should be a full episode of like the love-hate relationship with Woodward.
No,
is
Woodward's
it mostly
awesome,
love?
but they don't love scootering. They're clearly just trying to profit off of us and not show any real respect. And all the dudes
Yeah.
who work there in the summer, I know who you are, and I'm sure you could come on here and be like, oh, they fuck you guys, they support me, whatever. Then put us up on the sign. That's all it takes.
Put us on the sign.
Put us
If
on
we're
the
the ones
sign,
keeping
bro.
that place open, put us on. Like, gymnastics wasn't enough, although they had their
Can
own
Austin
side
come
dilemma.
on and tell us crazy stories about Point X? Yes, we will get that to happen. Actually, that would be a great episode. Austin talks about Point X.
I don't know, like, if he would have that many crazy stories, or like stories that people they'd be like, who the fuck is that guy? Like Ryder.
He said, this is all Josh. He wrote, and I'm talking about the scandalous shit with a snowman emote. I don't know how much of that Austin would be on. He was a young man. He wasn't like probably in that cool guy's circle.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I don't.
Like, he would have been super
know.
young. Those dudes would have probably been the pro riders. Austin was more of like.
We were like 15 at that time, 14. No, 15, 16. Because I remember we drove in the van. We had our licenses when we drove down there.
Yeah, like I don't think they would have been on that kind of inner knowledge, Josh. I think that would have been
no, because other people were like going out and drinking, but he was still so young. It was like he just would have to hang out at the camp
and ride. Yeah.
No, a lot of the drama, I honestly, I don't know. I can't even get into it because I don't really remember it. I'm just remembering the whole mini ramp.
I'm surprised there's not like
or not mini ramp, mega ramp.
Yeah, well, that made sense though, because looking back on it, it had DC logos all over it, and that footage hadn't really come out. So they were trying to keep all of that really on the DL.
And mega ramp was still like that
brand
thing
new.
was fucking
That's the
new.
first one. That was the first one.
Yeah, that was the first one. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about, Josh. I knew what you were referencing. I just don't think Austin would be super in the knowledge of all of that because he was just a camp counselor or whatever.
He was a dish dog.
A dish dog. That's what it was. Dish dog. Yeah.
His first year, he was a camper. He was there for like the very first weekend, and like Nickelodeon and shit was out there filming. And then I think he was a dish dog for 2 years.
Yeah. And you went 1 year and was a camper, but he stayed the rest of the summer, right?
I went as a camper, and they allowed me to bring my scooter. I had to sign up as a BMXer, I think. And then because my brother worked there, he was able to put in the word and be like, can he sign up for BMX but just ride his scooter? And so yeah, I was like the first scooter rider and only at Point X.
That's crazy.
But the lame part is they had me put on a demo for the entire camp at the end, and I was like, this is miserable. In the middle of the day when it's 100 degrees. It's embarrassing. Yeah. But I just learned a backflip. That's where I learned a backflip. So it's just like, all right, I'll do a backflip.
Yeah.
When their hearts and minds are like, oh, so it is cool because you could backflip, like, you fuckers.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Trend, everything's always being upset. Trends wise.
RVM 3 we filmed at Point X. RVM 3, not RVM 1.
Well, RVM 1 was filmed at Point X.
RVM 1?
And our RVM 1 was all Point X with Jarrett
Josh,
Reed
you're right.
and all them.
You're right, Josh.
But RVM
3
also had the Point X footage. RVM 2 was Woodward.
Yeah, okay.
Woodward West.
Because RVM 3 was us at me and you.
It wasn't like all like RVM 1 was like pretty much a lot of it, not all of it, because they had like Josh Toy cribs. It was mostly Woodward.
The legendary
or at
story
least the first section
is, we'll just tell it real quick, but yes, we can bring Austin on and talk about it again. But real fast, me, Addy, Josh Toy, and Ricky Warnicki went over to the mega ramp and we're fooling around. The boys were rolling down the roll-in and just riding up the big quarter pipe. And then the owner of Point X came flying over on a golf cart because we were filming it on our FX1s.
We were going down. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
We were going down, not the drop in, roll in, just the landing.
The landing and rolling up the big quarter pipe.
And it wasn't the owner. It was like basically like the entire like groundskeeper, the manager.
Okay, that's the manager
of the entire thing, from what I remember.
Yeah.
Not the financier owner, but like the guy who
ran the place,
managed all the people when the owners weren't around.
And he flew over on the golf cart and he scolded us and he wanted us to like delete the footage, right?
He said like straight, and like I knew this guy as like a camper from like a few months before, and he was like all jolly, you know, like you have to be with the camper. It's all nice, la 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 la, make him feel happy and special. And he just rolls over and is like, turn off that fucking camera and erase that fucking footage. Something like that. There were a lot of expletives in there, and it was just like, whoa. Didn't see that coming, and we thought we were okay. We knew they didn't want us like gapping the mega ramp, but we thought we were good to at least like ride the flat bottom a little bit, you know, and
But it was
roll
the
up the
filming.
quarter.
It was the filming, I think.
It was the filming that really pissed him off, and we were just like, okay. And I felt bad because like Austin was still working there.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, did I just get my brother fired? Like, fuck.
Apparently
he was cool though. After we left, he was just like, oh, no big deal.
We dipped after that too.
We'd already been there a while.
We'd already filmed that. There's a whole set, or not a whole section. I guess it's in Addy's part, Ricky and Josh's part. Periodically, you guys had tricks at that.
Yeah.
We'd already filmed all of that, and then at the end of the day, we went to because we like, dude, man, I've never been to Woodward. I've only been to Point X.
Yeah.
You know, Addy.
Point X was like riding in hell. Like literally, like it was 100-something degrees all day,
it wasn't
super
that bad
dry,
the day we
and
went.
there were snakes in the goddamn foam pit, bro.
I didn't experience any of that. I just got to hang out one day, and we rode for free, and there was no one else there.
Yeah, it was on the off, so like on the Saturday, Sunday where they have the turnover and like everyone goes into town. It was just us and like Austin and the manager.
Yeah, Danny. Yes, I agree. Danny Way, if he would have been there, he would have like fist fought all of us. Josh, 100%. Yes, because we were doing.
Oh yeah.
This is like the mega ramp had not even been seen, really, bro. Like it was crazy, and it was just chilling at Point X. Anyways,
yeah, they didn't. Well, I mean, they allowed the campers to ride down it, like the landing, but yeah, you had to get. I saw people gap it, but it was like pros who showed up.
And this is prior to like cell phones having cameras, so I don't have any like photo of us or anything.
No, even then that was like
a photo, but there's nothing really.
No, because even then, like when they first opened up, we were still on beepers and shit like that. Also,
from our point of view, like I know the way they filmed it in the video. If you go back and watch the DC video, which is where all of that ramp is shown, the way they filmed it from a distance. Like where we were standing, we could never have gotten a photo where you could have seen the whole thing. You would have had a hike, like a distance.
Yeah. And there was like it was
because the landing. Remember the roll down, wasn't it?
The roll-in's like one side of a mountain,
yeah.
And then the landing, it's like all the way down towards like the ditch. It was huge.
It was nuts, dude.
I mean, they're all huge, but
it was nuts. The first one was way crazier than the one that they had at the one they had at X Games. Like once they did it at X Games they downsized it a little bit. Like Danny Way, I'm pretty sure all the ones he rode were like way gnarlier. Also thinner. Yeah. Also, think about it. It was way more like, because we saw the one that, remember we went to X Games and they had the mega ramp inside the Staples Center.
Mm-hmm.
That was way wider than the one we saw at Point
X. Dude, I stood at the top of the Point X, the first mega ramp roll-in, and that's where I'm like, dude, screw the gap. Whatever. This roll-in is the death part. Oh my God. Just getting to the bottom of that was like...
Yeah, a lot of it was helicopter footage. You're totally right, Josh. I haven't watched the DC video in years, but you're right. A lot of it was helicopter. That's so true.
Like, you needed like a fisheye to get a lot of... Anyway, yeah, I don't know.
That's also
a little off topic, but...
Full circle conversation, going back to videos. That's when Addy was talking about this earlier. The DC video was also another video that they used fucking helicopters, like a snowboard video.
And like built that gigantic ramp. Like they're spending millions on this shit.
Yeah, you ain't seeing that now. No.
I wonder like what's snowboarding up to? Because snowboarding was another one of those when we were growing up. It was like, damn, they brought in like cranes and helicopters, zip line cameras.
But Addy, they have a lot more money. Think about all the money they have in that industry because so many randos just go for a day and they make a boatload of money off just people vacationing and snowboarding. If there was a big vacation location where the thing to do was to skate, there'd be a lot more money in our industry.
Are they dropping it? Because I remember maybe it was because it was a college time, but like people who didn't even snowboard would be talking about like the new Travis Rice video.
No, I don't.
Have you seen that? It's like, and like I don't even hear like our other action sports homies bring up snowboard videos anymore.
It's probably a little bit of oversaturation because of YouTube, but I'm sure if you're in the industry, you know, poor kids don't. Yeah, poor kids for sure. obviously, Josh, that's a thing. Like, poor kids don't like in the suburbs don't even, especially here in California, have never even seen snow.
Yeah,
So
but they could bring an iPhone up now and film shit versus like even if you could afford like the VX
no GoPro.
when we were growing up, yeah, or a GoPro, but like you could go to the skate park with your VX. You're not taking that if you saved up forever to get a VX 2100, you ain't taking that up the fucking slopes. Unless snowboarding is really your thing. Well, yeah, that's what it goes back to. Like, oh, we grew up kind of doing media, but at least now, like, you cannot even be that into filming snowboarding or action sports, but it's no problem for you to take your phone up and snap a clip of you and your boys riding. Like, you don't even have to think about it anymore. Like, you had to plan to bring a camera
all
up
the
mountain.
snowboard questions that's all that's Parrish, dude, because he's like Mr. Professional Snowboard Filmer. I'd say Parrish is maybe as big of a filmer in scootering as he is in snowboarding. Like, he's a big deal in snowboarding, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and there's also like the riding the street snowboarding. I guess it's a little easier to bust a camera out at a street snowboard spot than like take it up the mountain. I don't know.
Yeah,
it goes back to
downhill. Following someone downhill with a VX seems insane versus, hey, let's go find a rail in town and you're gonna, whatever.
The gear's in the car while you're setting it all up. You got to bring all that gear up on a fucking gondola or a chairlift.
Yeah.
Or hike it up if you're doing your backcountry shit.
Actually,
and every pound matters on an aircraft. So you're gonna bring up 300 pounds of gear.
Yeah, Parrish filmed a real street snowboarder. Yeah. I don't know. All right, let's wrap it up because I'm hot, man, and we still got to talk about some other stuff off camera or off stream.
Dude.
So
it's already 5. That's our longest one. Well,
all right. Well, that's the last of this stupid thing. We said a bunch of dumb stuff. We don't really know what we're talking about. We're just making.
And this is all. Yeah, this is stuff people kind of already know, but like we'll talk about it in a semi-official capacity,
I guess. And all the information, Addy pulled all of this off YouTube. It's not like we had any inside. Like, all these charts are just Addy doing research off of YouTube just to re-explain what this even was. Not Social Blade, none of that crap. He legit went on YouTube, pulled up all the numbers, and he made these charts with the numbers he researched. So there you go.
If anyone still wants a copy of this, I don't know, just email us.
Yeah, email.
For the two of you, like, you might as well just email us.
Heligrip.com if you want the thing. Promise we'll get to you at some point. Drama equals views. We wish, bro. If drama equals views,
we weren't trying to create drama here. I wished I would see more that's like, oh, this will be a saucy detail to bring up, but there's not really a whole lot. But still, it's something like I feel like a lot of people talk about, and that was one of the main reasons I did it, amongst several other I've brought up. It's just that, like, we've been talking about this for years. Let's actually look at the numbers, because sometimes you speculate and debate, and then you look and go like, oh, what we were talking about, like, we were way off.
You know what?
The numbers say otherwise.
The thing I wanted to know, we never actually got to the point though. What was the #1 video of 2023?
I don't know. It's probably one of John's or Ryan Williams for long form.
All right. Well, that's that.
Yeah, or it was just some rando that I didn't notice. I don't know, but it probably got 70 million views.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Yeah.
And next week we promise we're actually gonna watch scooter videos and not talk about dumb shit.
Yeah. This wasn't supposed to be like a doom and gloom thing either. It's just more like it's all about finding a balance in everything in life, and hopefully you could reach an equilibrium. So where's the balance and equilibrium going to be going forward? I see you spinning that wheel. Hey.
I was trying to go through all of it.
But I don't think with lots of people not staying in our lane, hopefully the influencers aren't making their own products. Oh, well, God. Talk about oversaturating the market and we've had a boom and bust cycle.
We've had that issue because of what we manufacture since for a long time. There's been a lot of influencers that have made grip tape that we're able to do it. So I mean,
Stop. Make your product is your video.
yeah, leave it to us to make the grip tape.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Although, Capron, if you want to make soap, I'll buy some of that. Hey, I'll film videos for you. Like, not be your marketing. I'll just promote. I shower every day, sometimes twice a day. You know, you want an upload a day from me in the shower? You got it, bro. Just make
no
that
one
soap
wants that. No one wants
and hook
that.
it up.
No one wants that. Let's end with Addy.
Bro, I've got, you know, maybe a shampoo would be better. I've got longer hair.